helped a family in Aurora. Mom needed memory care, and her kids were trying to coordinate everything from out of town. The house was full of 40 years of belongings, and they were completely overwhelmed. They told us they didn't have the time or energy for repairs and a major cleanout. We bought the house as is and gave them the time they needed to take what mattered. Family photos, heirlooms, whatever they wanted. And we handled the rest. After closing, they sent us a note. You gave us time to grieve, not just sell a house. Since 2007, our veteran-led team has helped hundreds of Chicagoland families through difficult transitions with no pressure and no gimmicks. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I believe the Duchess of Chafington, Hillary Clinton, just called them bimbo eruptions. 4 women said Bill Clinton raped them. Didn't make one lick of difference. Squirrel, double my bet on the Nazi in Maine winning the election. The Democrats have no standards, whether it's a Nazi or a rapist. As long as he spreads a little money around to a couple of bust-outs, they'll vote for anybody. Are you looking at the Chicago mayor or the New York one? We'll talk about that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. We'll see mostly sunny skies and a high of 86 today. Dr. Lisa Nee has made it official today, throwing her hat into the Chicago mayoral race.
I'm tired of seeing the system fail the people. I think Chicago deserves leadership that listens, solves problems, and puts people at the center for public trust.
Other mayoral challengers include politicians like Representative Mike Quigley, Comptroller Susana Mendoza, and Cook County Board of Review Commissioner George Cardenas. One man was shot and killed in Old Town this morning. Police saying a man was outside when he was shot multiple times in the 400 block of West Evergreen Avenue. Multiple ships coming under attack in the Strait of Hormuz late Monday night. Fox's Mike Tobin is in Tel Aviv.
The strike caused a fire on board. Reuters says that fire is near the engine room. No reports that anyone was hurt. The ship was defying the Iranian orders to follow their designated route and instead had been traveling the U.S.-backed Omani route. Warnings came over the radio. Quote, the warnings were ignored. 2 ships were fired upon.
A third ship was also struck and sustained minor damage. Cubs take on the Orioles. Southsiders battle the White Sox. The News, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending lower, pressured by a sell-off in semiconductor stocks on mounting doubts about the sustainability of the AI-driven rally. Chip stocks tumbled despite memory chip giant Samsung Electronics reporting a 19-fold jump in second quarter operating profit due to surging demand for artificial intelligence. However, concerns about its AI spending plans and future demand spooked investors, leading to a sell-off in chips. Tech and industrials were the worst performing sectors. Rising oil prices are fueling inflation concerns, with West Texas Intermediate crude settling near $72 a barrel. The Dow winners, IBM, Johnson & Johnson, and United Health Group. The Dow decliners, Caterpillar, Goldman Sachs, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow falling 131 points. The Nasdaq lower by 302. S&P 500 down 34. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Larry Elder believes it was the right decision.
It was quite courageous for President Trump to start a war with Iran in the first place, given the absence of support by the American people and the absence of support by the international community. And why did he do it? Because it was the right thing to do. Because 7 previous presidents had kicked the can down the road.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Shh, here she comes. Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop. Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations. Also, there's a beehive outside your store. And they're super aggressive. There's thousands of them.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired. Gross.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
If you're looking for a place to grow spiritually in the middle of a busy life, intouch.org is designed for you. Explore practical, biblical teaching from Dr. Charles Stanley, daily devotionals, free study guides, and messages that speak to real-life challenges. Whether you're searching for direction, comfort, or a deeper understanding of God's Word, you'll find tools to help you take the next step. Discover resources that meet you right where you are at intouch.org.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $293. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hasseless Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasseless.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here is another check of the roads. We begin with the outbound side of the Eden, which is clear. Kennedy inbound is a crash at Addison in the left lane. It is 50 minutes in. The Kennedy out 35 back out to the airport. Also an accident inbound Eisenhower at Racine, hour and 25 in from 390. The outbound trip 35 to Wolf 50 to the Jane Addams with a stall at first and a crash reported at Austin. Stevenson outbound side 45 to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. Outbound Ryan is a half hour. Northbound I-57 past Peatone, there's an accident in the left lane. Heavy along the Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Eastbound Reagan, southbound 355 getting slow as well. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear with a low of 67. Tomorrow, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 89. Tomorrow night will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72. On Thursday, there will be intervals of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
It took how long? How long for that fracking deep water tunnel? Started in 1975. Fracking morons were ringing the register for 40 years. Billions, not millions, as originally told to the Illinoisans. Billions and billions and billions. Last count, $3.85 billion, which is a lot of millions. A lot of millions. In fact, $1 billion is 1,000 million. So that's $38.5 million for a tunnel that people are celebrating that it filled up with water. You absolute morons! You deserve these Democrats. You really do. What'd you do? You hit the button there? Don't get jittery.
I mean, I have thought a lot about that since you and I talked. And I I have to say, I think it makes political sense for both of us.
Oh no! Look, I think this would be great.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no problem with that.
The pitch, the pitch for you, I think, is, you're picking,
banking and financial experience and know-how and all of that, right?
At every turn, every fracking policy, every building that they pretend to own and maintain, every dollar, 80 cents is stolen. Every dollar. And don't worry, it's not just Illinois-istan. It's New York-istan. It's California-istan. It's New Jersey-istan. It's the same fracking thing. What are the other common denominators, aside from morons and thieves called Democrats? Illegal aliens. One and all, so to watch the compartmentalized news and hear about this filthy pig with that dent in his head that killed that beautiful girl. I don't want to hear a fracking word about that scumbag. Somebody shiv that son of a pig. If we're going to talk about it, I want to hear from the mother.
Unfortunately, it's the fourth time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities. There's many other things that we could be doing other than this.
I get so upset with your butts, and you don't want to talk about this. This is the fourth hearing. Do you know what I'm thankful for? And this is so messed up. I'm going to say I'm thankful. After hearing, I didn't even know what an angel family was. Had no idea. Never even heard about it. There's so many out here. You know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful that my daughter was just shot in the back of the head, not raped.
Logan Square. Remember all of the hoopla with the nine-finger Yakuza? Is he the low-life thieving Democrat scumbag who orchestrated the 606 trail? Or was it that Beetlejuice, Lightfoot? Or was it the Simpleton Daily? Which moron is responsible for illegal aliens raping our women as recent as the weekend?
The woman had just entered the 606 trail right above Lawndale Avenue with her husband. Her husband jogged ahead, and that's when the unthinkable happened as the woman was here for an early morning jog.
By the way,
prosecutors say...
May I just stop the story? You're there with your old lady. You're on the 606. Scumbags and lurches and drunks hanging off the fracking trash cans. You're going to jog ahead and you don't hear your wife get sexually assaulted? Boy, that's a tough pill to swallow, huh?
This man, 56-year-old Ricardo Colon, attacked the woman from behind, putting her in a chokehold.
By the way, why do you got to say his name? Ricardo Colon. It's Ricky! Ricky smells like dung. That's his name.
She pulled away, but Colon overpowered her, throwing the woman to the ground while his hands were still around her neck. Prosecutors say Colon then touched the woman inappropriately on private areas of her body. She was able to break away for a moment and stood up, making her way to the other side of the trail. That's when prosecutors say Colon pushed the woman back onto the ground and, according to court documents, knelt on top of her as she lay on her back on the ground, then held her down by her collarbone.
And that's Shirekistan. Can you imagine 30 years ago? You're on a trail, you see some filthy pig illegal alien doing this to a woman. That's why you carry a screwdriver right in his ear. Nobody did a word. Nobody said a word. Nobody did a thing. This guy actually molests the woman. And nobody, including her husband, nobody did a fracking thing. And don't worry, the judge won't do a thing either.
And continued touching her inappropriately over her clothing. Prosecutors say once the woman was able to get Colon off of her, she followed him, punching and kicking him. That's when a husband and wife living nearby came out of their home after hearing the woman scream, with the wife carrying an aluminum bat. The husband...
Oh, the women! Women's got a bat, woman fighting back. Where's the fracking tough guys?
The husband then followed Colon with the bat down the street. He, along with another Good Samaritan, held Colon until police arrived.
You held him, huh?
Prosecutors say after his arrest, Colon denied attacking the woman, saying they had bumped into each other. But then prosecutors say Colon admitted grabbing the woman when she was tying her shoes and grabbing her wrists and pulled her toward him, telling police he gets the urge to touch women's buttocks, adding, "Why are women showing it if they are not going to give it?"
The virtuous scumbag right there. What do you got? Is that an Islamo-Nazi? You follow that religion started by the pedophile? What are you? Or are you just a degenerate scumbag from a third world? Do you believe this is going on? In Chicago, very cosmopolitan. And what kind of political scum does it produce over and over and over?
Yeah, I don't know about banking, right? Because
for financial know-how.
Throw my sister in Superior Bank in.
What happened to her bank?
These are the gods. These are the oligarchs, these fat pig slobs, all ugly and repulsive. These are the ones that the Democrats will continue to support. So when you see the Nazi in Maine, he might almost be a step up. After all, that Nazi, he looks like he could do a push-up. You think Pritzker can?
You mentioned 2028. You were a billionaire whose net worth Forbes puts at $4.3 billion. What do you make of Democrats in your party as we lead up to 2026 and the midterm elections in 2028 who rail against the billionaire class in your party? Do you think
You know what fries me about this fat pig, aside from the obvious? He's not a billionaire because he did anything. His mother, she's the one that did it. She shook that tail feather. That's the only reason this fracking moron can buy lunch. He never did a thing in his life. He's not a man. He didn't earn money. He's not Elon Musk. He's not Donald Trump. He's not, and people go, oh, Donald Trump was left money. He lost that. He built it back 3 times. Ro Khanna, even Ro Khanna, he knew marry money, get elected, then insider trade, and you can be worth hundreds of millions too. And you, like that fat slob, J.B. Pritzker with the butter soft hands. By the way, his sister's got just as much money. How'd she get it? Well, she's a consultant. Bad example. His pervert cousin, Tommy, he's got just as much money in between molesting the girls on Epstein Island. How'd he get it? All these fracking Pritzkers have it. You know why, Squirrel? Grandpa Abe set up trusts so none of them pay taxes, just like Ro Khanna.
Democrat Representative Ro Khanna, who attacks the wealthy and demands they pay more taxes, is an elitist worth over $340 million, whose young daughters own 3 private golf clubs in Ohio, raking in millions each year in unearned income.
His kids are under 10. They're like Pritzker. They have money too. And their mother earned it. Actually, their father earned it. But they didn't make it. These aren't people that make money. So to hear J.B. Pritzker talk about anything, shut your mouth. The only reason you're even a lawyer is because your Grandpa Abe built a wing on a law school, fat boy.
billionaires belong in politics, since you are a billionaire who is in politics?
You know, I completely understand when people feel like looking at Elon Musk and what he's done to this country and, you know, with Doge and all.
You mean with Starlink, or you mean with Tesla, or you mean with the tunnels? Not like the government one that cost $3.85 billion and took 40 fracking years, you slob. How many of your relatives and your friends got in on that scam, fat boy? More or less than the education, than maintaining the schools that nobody goes to. I love the idea that he puts himself in any category. All you are is the son of a smart broad, knew how to shake her tail feathers. That's all. You're nothing special.
The things that he blurts out on his own platform on X, when people look at what the other kind of oligarch big tech types have done, right? Those are the examples that people have now of billionaires. Look at Donald Trump and the way he has treated working class and middle class people.
Let's look at Ro Khanna. Let's look at you. Let's look at the Clinton Foundation. Last estimates, $650 million. What did they do? Aside from squash a couple of rape allegations by a couple of, what was it that Hillary Clinton used to call them, honey bunny? Bimbo eruptions.
Reported that as First Lady, Hillary led the effort to disparage her husband's woman accusers who were dismissed as bimbo eruptions.
In November, she wrote on her Twitter page, she said, "Every survivor of sexual assault deserves to be heard, believed, and supported."
That's interesting. I was never heard and supported and believed. She tried to basically derail me.
4 women outside of Paula Jones, who he settled with, allegations of rape. And to this day, that fat lesbian using Bill Clinton as her beard, she'll get millions and millions of votes, millions and millions of support, far more than Joe Biden did when he stole the election. And as you hear the call for some sort of character or dignity by the left, understand they don't even have enough to write different excuses by the rapists. Remember the gassy Swalwell squirrel? You remember that fart monster Swalwell? You remember him? I knew when I heard Plattner. last night. It was virtually the same thing.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations. I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false
taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election.
Flat false. They're absolutely false.
Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the frontrunner candidate for governor in California.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict,
I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint.
I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me.
I think you know who I am. For over 20 years, I have served the public.
You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants.
Oh, boys, you're weak amateurs. Weak impersonations. If you're going to sell it, at least do your own homework.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
She was doing them right there, under the table. That's a Democrat statesman. You're never going to live up to that. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560. The Answer.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
Shaun Thompson here. Recently, someone asked me, what is it that I love most about being on AM 560, The Answer? I didn't hesitate. I love the fact that AM 560 is a family. You, the listeners, our advertisers, and all of us who are on air make up one big family in a very bad place. We look out for each other because we share the same values. And so many of our advertisers are small and medium businesses. They're owners who work very hard, they play by the rules, they pay their taxes, they make their communities even stronger. If that describes you and you own or operate a business, then I want to invite you to consider working with AM 560 to market your business. If you want to reach AM 560 family members, whether through radio, live events, or digital marketing, then call Amy O'Toole. She's a wonderful girl. She's in charge of advertising around here. Call her at 847-472-8925. That's 847-472-8925. Find out how you can become part of the AM 560 family. Together, our family can truly help make America great again.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right. Doing it right since 1959.
AM 560. The
Answer. I'm amazed that people think, and when I say people, non-Democrat moron scumbags, you think this is going to change one vote? Seriously. One moment of support. Not that I think they win with any legitimacy. All they need is the possibility of winning. Do you really think there's going to be an outcry of what exactly? The call for, you've gone too far now. I was willing to accept the Nazi, the socialism and the communism and the masturbation, admitted masturbation in public restrooms. I was willing to go with that. Open borders, murder and mayhem. But this is where I go just a little too far. Do you realize who's in charge of this, right? All children, all morons. Here are the idiots that paid to have his background scrutinized.
How did you find Graham Plattner?
Well, we went through thousands and thousands of prospects.
Listen to this guy's voice. How did you find him? You found him at the manhole. He was in the bathroom with a thong on backwards, and you said, I like the cut of your jib. You were like Elizabeth Warren.
That's my kind of man.
That's how you found him, you sick bastards. This whole party is sick.
How did you find Graham Plattner?
Well, we went through thousands and thousands of prospects.
Would you let this guy valet park your car? Are you listening to this sissy?
And, Leanne pulled up this video of this guy with an oyster farm.
My name is Graham Plattner.
He didn't have an oyster farm. His mother was running a tax scheme. She set up her moron, Nazi son in business so he could pretend to move out of the basement. They're all trust fund babies like Pritzker.
And I live in Sullivan, Maine, the owner of Frenchman Bay Oyster Company.
And then she pulled up his FEC history and saw, the money he'd given to Bernie Sanders.
That's the guy in charge! Bernie Sanders? Whoa. You talking about the multi-million-dollar commie wannabe? Married to that big, fat bank fraud broad?
How can I get by on one house? I need 5 houses.
I own 3 residences. Yeah, I do.
I need jet planes to take me all over the world.
Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that.
Sorry, the American people. We've got the money. We've got the power.
Guess what? I'm a United States Senator.
You're nothing. None of them. From Pritzker to Sanders. The Nazi is the only one that could do a push-up. And as for the scout, he would have let him do anything. All he wanted to do was prance around his living room with a feather duster in his rear end.
And, some other people. That was enough information to know that we had the best prospect that we'd...
This is why I never wanted a son, Squirrel. At the mere odds, could turn out to be that guy. Woof. Glenn, Orlando.
Shaun, I think we have a new walking trail for Pritzker from the lakefront to the 606. Get on that 606 trail, man.
Do you see him? You see his big fat ass, how he does his campaign videos? He wants people to think he's working out along the lakeshore with the Ozempic IV behind him and his man boobs flapping around like a couple of flapjacks. You see him? He's got boobs.
Yeah,
he's perfect Democrat. Big, fat, useless. And the only reason he's got money is because the mother was willing to put up with the cross-eyed billionaire. He's got a cross-eyed father. You think that was what attracted to him? I said, look at me when I talk to you.
Maybe ever seen.
How did you go about vetting him? And why did you?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back.
Your mouth sounds a little dry. You believe these fracking idiots? These are the guys that are in charge of the party. All the same kind of useless morons. What, did your mother know who to give a lap dance to?
Vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts, did that turn up in the vetting process?
The firm sent us a thing, and it had some of the posts, but it didn't have all of them.
How did you think your way through the fact that he had posted these things on social media?
Double my money!
I said none of this.
Squirrel, double it! Double says he wins. Now I know why Hillary Clinton was the nominee. She's got way more balls than 99% of the men. She was willing to shake down everybody, FBI, CIA. And you know why she did it, Squirrel? She knew that the bulk of these sissies were just like this guy and Graham Plattner. Nothings.
What's important to me going forward is, as I say, I think it's important to focus on what happened because lessons can be learned. But the more important lessons that will affect our democracy going forward are not about him and his investigation.
Listen to that voice, huh, Squirrel? Not allowed in any lumberyard from sea to shining sea.
I think, forever changed history, but that's in the past. What's important is the fact that the Russians are still going at us. He himself admitted that before Congress. People I really respect, like Jim Clapper and John Brennan and others who knew what the Russians were doing, have been sounding the alarm. I will tell you this, Anderson, if I had been elected president under the same circumstances, so that...
But you weren't. You weren't. You lost in dramatic fashion, like on the weekend when Bill Clinton had a choice to make.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
I believe it. If anybody proves it, it's Chelsea. That's a turkey baster. 312-642-5600.
Hey, you guys feel like playing some baseball?
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
If stairs in your home are becoming difficult, there's a practical solution, and it doesn't have to come with pushy salespeople. Access provides dependable stair lifts designed to help you stay safely in the home you love. No gimmicks, no overselling, just honest guidance, quality equipment, and professional local installation. We'll explain your options, work within your budget, and let you decide what's right at your pace. For a straightforward, no-pressure, free in-home consultation, call 630-616-6249 or visit allaboutaccess.com.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No, nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
So yesterday was successful. We announced Shaun Fest, which is a great time for all of us to get together. I absolutely love it. And you should know, admission is free. So all you have to do is register. We had a couple hundred people sign up yesterday. It's our first day. So get on there now because they have to know how many people are showing up. The place can hold a lot of people, but we have to know food and drinks will be available. We have a band there that'll be accompanying us. We're going to have guests that'll be live. Honey Bunny Squirrel will be there. And so many of you. It's our get-together at the end of summer. Absolutely fantastic. All you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Now, when you're spelling Shaun, remember, nobody in my family was a Democrat who voted for Mike Madigan. We're not from the Blarney Stone. Sound it out like an Italian woman would. SHAUN Fest. All one word. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Just register. There are VIP tickets available, and if you buy one, I want to make it where yours of value for you. So you get a T-shirt, you get a drink ticket, and you get a seat, preferred seating, guaranteed seating. So check it all out for yourself, 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. It's happening in Itasca at the Westin. In back is called Lakeside Pavilion. There's going to be tables out there, advertisers that you've heard us talk about. You're going to get to meet them face-to-face. We'll be smoking cigars outside. I had somebody ask me that. I'm going to be smoking. Are you nuts? If the sun is up and the moon is coming up, I'll be smoking. You can guarantee that. This isn't sponsored in part by some of the great sponsors here. Virago, LeavingI-L.com, State Farm Insurance Agent, Anthony Delgado. There's no L in there. Delgado. Unique Wood Flags, Class A insurance owned by Thomas and TJ Icunta. And by the way, I have to tell you, they are wonderful people. Had a conversation with them, father and son, All great people are going to be sponsoring, and you're going to be there. It's free. Just register at 560theanswer.com/SeanFest. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. In a story we first told you about several days ago, Dr. Lisa Nee has made it official today and tossed her hat into the Chicago mayoral ring.
I would build the best transition team possible, and I would listen to the people that are already here who've been problem solving for the city.
The Chicago-based cardiologist is known as a whistleblower exposing patient mistreatment at the Hines VA hospital. Questions surround the status of Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. Reports say the former Senate Majority Leader was found unconscious in his Washington home on June 14th following a possible heart attack. Multiple ships coming under attack in the Strait of Hormuz Monday night. Here's Fox's Mike Tobin.
The Qatari natural gas tanker was hit by what's described now as an unknown projectile, but according to a Reuters report, is currently at risk of exploding. It is sitting in the Gulf of Oman, just outside of the Strait of Hormuz, and was hit by this unknown projectile. It's confirmed by the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization.
A third ship was also struck and sustained minor damage. The news, a service of the podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, a check of the roads with Jill Urchak.
It's quiet going out on the Edens. The Kennedy inbound at Addison. Left lane remains blocked with an accident. Should be moved off to the side shortly. 1 hour going in. Outbound Kennedy 35 to get to O'Hare. Eisenhower, the crash at Racine. On the right side, partially blocking the right lane. That is an hour and 35 minutes going in. The reverse at 1 hour and 10 with an accident at Austin. A stall in the right lane at First Avenue. Stevenson, that's an hour to get to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and the outbound Ryan is a half hour. On 57 northbound, the crash at Piatone being moved off to the left side as well. Heavy conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. On the Tri-State, you'll see tie-ups both directions. Reagan eastbound heavy, southbound 355 heavy, southbound 53 an accident on the exit ramp to Algonquin Road, but the Jane Addams is okay. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear with a low of 67. Wednesday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 89. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72. Thursday will have intervals of clouds and sunshine along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
John was an active man. He'd go for runs, walk the golf course, and always take the stairs instead of the elevator. But then bone-on-bone knee pain got in the way and affected his mobility. It became too painful to even go for walks. And when it seemed like John's only option was knee replacement surgery, a friend told him about the Joint Relief Institute and their affordable, non-surgical knee pain relief. John met with the Joint Relief Institute and discovered their lubricating gel treatment could rejuvenate his lost cartilage. Safe, effective, no surgery. Long story short, John is now back to being active without pain or medication.
There is an alternative to knee replacement surgery. Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
You rotate your tires to prevent wear and prolong their life.
Shouldn't you do the same with your mattress?
You can with Penny Mustard's double-sided hybrid mattresses.
Combining a steel coil spring center and specialty foam.
So they're more breathable.
More long-livable.
And flippable, too.
You know, tires and mattresses have a lot in common.
How so?
Both spend their lives under pressure. And if they wear out, you feel every bump.
Come see our selection of sophisticrafted, double-sided hybrid mattresses at Penny Mustard.
PennyMustard.com.
Rick Borick talks about the emotions of stock market investing.
At what point would you rethink your decision that you're invested in the stock market? And you'll notice that someone who answered that question 6 months ago saying, I'm not going to panic until it's down 30%, calls you up on the phone and says, it's down 8, what's going on? And I says, what happened to the 30% guy, right?
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
What if the propaganda you see, that you're being inundated with, is a result of the fear among the rulers, among the ruling class? I believe it is. You see, the reality of the implosion of real estate, the climate of business, decent people fleeing and running, those who cannot yet, planning on. These scallywag frauds who pretend to be socialists and Marxists and communists. They're none of the above. They're just $2 whores looking to steal money and justify it. They don't have the luxury of the Pritzker Trust Fund. I mean, take a look at some of these real lowlifes, like our own.
A question about the Greyhound station. Now that the council has approved your plan to buy it, what happens now? What's the timetable, and what will people see as the city takes over ownership and operation of the depot?
The people of Chicago are going to see the first of its kind, publicly supported and protected form of transportation. Over 500 million people are going to have access to a form of transportation.
Who's going to get on it? Is anybody dumb enough to not know what's going on all your public transportation ghetto expresses? Yeah. Is anybody, which one's the bad one, Squirrel? Is it the red line? Is it the blue line? Is it the purple line? Is it red? Get the hell out of here.
Police need your help identifying 5 suspects wanted for a blue line robbery in Garfield Park. Detectives released these surveillance images today. They say the 5 men, armed with a weapon, hit and robbed a 56-year-old man on a train near the Kedzie Homan stop on May 26th.
That was stupid. Why would you take it if you didn't expect to get robbed? You got to put your money in your shoe, like prison. It's a fracking prison colony. And when it comes to all the other Democrat areas, it's the same thing. And they're spewing the same fear, if you listen just right.
Time is precious to our commuters coming in from Long Island. I understand this. Or reverse commuters, people coming out to the great jobs that are being created here. So this payroll mobility tax is part of a larger story of everybody having to share in the pain.
Oh, there's another tax? And another tax and another tax. Manhattan is seeing the greatest, not just exodus of money and business that really only Chicago's had a taste of. It's not what they want you to believe. It's not what you're hearing, what you're led to believe. This is them panicking. They understand nobody with an IQ anymore is buying it. Nobody who can actually pay taxes is going to put up with it. They understand what it is. It's one giant failure fraud with a low quality of life, to where even when tragedy strikes, the most you can console yourself is at least it wasn't as bad as it could be.
Murdered, dismembered, put in a garbage can like Megan Boss with bleach poured on her, and they didn't fight her for 50 days. And you can actually dismiss the Angel families. You can say, but you don't want to hear four sessions on Angel families. I'm sorry, you need to. You need to. I'm actually thankful that my daughter wasn't raped.
That's how you get acclimated to living among Democrat scumbags. Democrat scum from the so-called bench to any political office. Because who gets protected in that time? It's the low-life rat who you're watching on WGN, who you're hearing his sob story of the kind of life he had to leave versus what he did to this beautiful young girl. And it's how you get used to stories that should have offended you. I had this story on my board a week ago. A week ago. Here's a scum, punk, useless waste of life that killed a woman mercilessly. And he got 5 years for it.
A minor who pleaded guilty to killing a postal worker will spend 5 years in juvenile detention. Octavia Redmond was killed in July of 2024 while she was delivering mail. The juvenile got out of a stolen vehicle and shot her multiple times at close range.
I just had a story in Florida where we had a teen, same scenario, waste of life, kill a Floridian. The Florida AG charged him as an adult. He's doing life, and now they're going for the death sentence. That's the difference. Live around scum, you get used to it. Terry, Shirekistan, you know that.
So I was on hold. I was thinking, years ago in New York, you carried $20 around as smuggler's money. But do you think is this guy, New York mayor, I call him Mal Dummy, because he's a malicious dummy. And the third thing is, last thing is, do you ever think about marketing your program as like the Green Acres of radio? I
had a Zsa Zsa Gabor thing. I had a Zsa Zsa Gabor thing. Oh, Zsa Zsa. You kidding me? With the negligee, she could rock it. No transvestites back then, Squirrel. Not at all. And when it comes to Mom Dami, whatever, he's not the dummy. I think the kid's brilliant. Never worked in his life. Lived with his mother and father. Here, he's going to sell a budget. You ready? This is the budget. And what you have to understand is just like Brandon Johnson, they featherbed the hiring of New York in the same way Johnson does Chicago. They double the employees, and they give them all raises. In this budget in New York, all the suck-on punk commies that never worked like him and now are in charge of whole departments and the rent control, they all get a 20% raise in this budget. Boy, not one media talking about that. It must be next to where the Nazis are rapists.
For those who have watched budget after budget, it is tempting to assume that we are engaging in the same dance as our predecessors. Let me assure you, nothing about this is typical. That's why our solutions won't be either. There are two paths to bridge this gap. The first is the most sustainable and the fairest path. This is the path of ending the drain on our city and raising taxes on the richest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations.
Or what they could do is what they're already doing. Run! They're running! You see, it's still America, and you can still leave. It's not Nazi Germany the way they like it to pretend it is. You can leave. You can lock your fracking door. You can do. In fact, Squirrel, you know what I did? I had to go to lunch today, and I went past the Elmhurst Cigar House where I used to have the cigar store. And that was the one where the moron simpleton mayor and that suck-on board, they didn't like the fact that I had Biden voters keep out and I would not waive. Not a frickin' Democrat came in my store for 4 years. I love that. And if they tested me, they got thrown on their frickin' ear. Not that they ever really did. They're like they were like that guy who hired the scout for Plattner. With that little high-pitched sugar in their tank voice. Nobody really challenged me. What was fantastic is it's still empty. What? Downtown Elmhurst. Very cosmopolitan. Not only is that empty, the one next door is empty. 3 more down the street are empty. See, that's the reality of what it is. They chase out the decent and the honest. That's why you should celebrate. Simultaneously with this, Donald Trump and the real American economy is kicking ass. And Donald Trump has implemented the little acorn seeds that will grow up to be the oak trees that break American communism. And what he and Bessent and the rest of the Trump administration did with giving these kids an equity stake in the real economy, whether they talk about it now or they talk about it in 100 years, this is what broke the American roach welfare system that spends $3.5 trillion a year. And everybody involved in it lives and dies a bum ghetto dweller. Donald Trump set kids on the path that by the time they're 28, if they contribute $5,000 a year, their parents or their grandparents or anybody else, at the time they're 28, each one of these kids will have $1 million in assets.
U.S. President Donald Trump rang the opening bell on Wall Street from the Oval Office Monday, alongside executives from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. The moment marked the launch of so-called Trump accounts. The program is designed to give Americans born between 2025 and 2028 a $1,000 stake in the stock market and help.
What's Mondamni going to give you? What's Brandon Johnson going to give you? The hope that you can get a suck-on job? What he really delivers is what all those people in the ghetto know. Low-living poverty, hopelessness, and feudalism. Where Donald Trump, what he did right now, set the tone to break the welfare roach system forever. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-921-5252. That's 800-921-5252. 800-921-5252.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
When Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860, America stood on the edge of collapse. Over the next 4 years, the Civil War claimed more than 700,000 lives and tested whether our republic could endure. As the war drew to a close, Lincoln looked beyond victory. He looked toward healing. In his second inaugural address, he challenged the nation. Let us strive on to bind up the nation's wounds, to achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace. Lincoln understood that preserving the greatest experiment in self-government required more than winning a war. It required the character to restore what had been broken. More than 160 years later, America still faces division. The question is not whether we'll disagree. The question is whether we still have the wisdom and the character to heal together.
I'm excited about it. You know, these cutting-edge things that are new in medicine now, I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics. It works.
Henry Hinton decided to check out QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his aching knees after seeing a close friend have amazing results without going under the knife.
I have a friend that started this, which is one of the reasons that I decided to do it. He could not play golf anymore, and he went to QC Kinetics and started having the treatments, and he's back golfing like 3 days a week. He couldn't play at all.
QC Kinetics gets you back to doing what you love, using your own natural biologics to help heal and restore damaged joints. Long-term relief that puts a guy back on the golf course.
You know, I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference. QC Kinetics works. I'm excited about it.
You're next. Start with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE. 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
AM 560.
The answer. Donald Trump thinks that we should trust him on the economy because he claims to be very rich. But take it from an actual billionaire. Trump is rich in only one thing: stupidity.
Stupidity, you fat pig. How long you think you'd last in a tavern? fat boy.
As of last week, $19.2 trillion pouring into the United States right now from all over the world. That's the investments being made.
How much is pouring into Illinois? How much out-of-state, out-of-country money is coming to Illinois and saying, I got to be in business? How much, fat pig? How much? None. Not even your trust fund. Not even your sister's trust fund. Not even your pervert scumbag cousin Tom's trust fund. None of the Pritzker's trust fund. In fact, when you bring your Pritzker money here, it comes here like Grandpa Abe wanted it. Tax-free with grants and scum.
You get a class or something? Yeah, she was chairman of a bank, and it had subprime loans. I mean, some bad stuff. Superior Bank turned out to be an inferior bank. Inferior, exactly. Very good. I like that.
And you know who takes out subprime loans? Economic illiterates. The Pritzkers financially raping the economic illiterate for generations, over and over and over again. Slobs. And you're ugly. David Mantino.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing? I just wanted to tell you about the Trump account. My daughter and son-in-law signed up my 5-month-old grandchild.
Fantastic.
He made $2 yesterday, and so at 5 months old, he's worth $1,002.
And he's a capitalist.
In one day.
Is that?
Yeah. So I just want to let people know out there, it's a legit program, and yeah.
David, now what? You got a
$1,002.
You got a granddaughter or grandson?
I've got 9 grandchildren, but only 3 of them are eligible for the program.
Oh, is that fantastic, though? And now, if you look, there was an article in the Journal, there was an article in the Financial Times and Business Daily. If you contribute the $5,000 a year, you and the parents, and the flexibility of who contributes is pretty open. Remember when we were kids, how like your relatives with jobs would give you the saving bond? Remember that? Well, this is 1,000 times better. And the estimate is by the time the baby is 28, he'll have $1 million in assets. If you just historically look at the growth, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
If I was young enough right now to have another kid, that'd be worth more than me at 18 years old.
Come on, David. There's no menopause for us. You're always young enough. You just need a willing participant, David. Thank you very much for the call. Good luck hunting. George, Naperville.
Shaun, I think he had the hots for Ava Gabor. She was the one walking around in those diaphanous gowns.
It wasn't Jaja?
I think it was Ava.
I'll tell you what, those Gabor sisters, there was a third one too, wasn't there?
And you did them all, Shaun.
Oh, I only wished. I used to love that accent. I'm a sucker for an accent, Squirrel. I can't help it. Except when it's a Nazi accent. Don't like the Nazis. And here in America, the Nazis have Democrat accents. That's the thing to remember. And I love the fact that it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that he was a Nazi. What's going to hoist him by his petard is the allegation of rape when they elected Bill Clinton over and over again, and we're going to elect his wife, the orchestrator of the bimbo eruptions and how to keep them quiet.
Reported that as First Lady, Hillary led the effort to disparage her husband's woman accusers who were dismissed as bimbo eruptions.
In November, she wrote on her Twitter page, she said, "Every survivor of sexual assault deserves to be heard, believed, and supported."
That's interesting. I was never heard and supported.
And by the way, to hear them talk about character, when they have none, when every area the Democrat mafia is in charge of, every area does the same thing. They raise the taxes on the working people, and they give debt because they don't have any money. They don't have any money. They give debt to whom?
Kathy Hochul's given $8 billion to illegal migrants. She's given $5.5 billion to Zohran Mamdani, and that's why union workers say we want our share. So that's why they're bargaining hard, because she gives money to everybody else, but not to the workers of New York State.
I'm telling you, running for the gate. It isn't just the individual properties that are losing $185,000 per unit in Manhattan. It will be all of New York. The cancer of communism kills its host. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up.
and you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything: design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com, to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Tired of posting to your business's social media, but only your employees notice it? Meanwhile, your competitors are winning over customers by racking up thousands of views. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. Here's how it works. If you're in Chicagoland, we sit down with you and come up with all the ideas. Then we handle the filming, editing, and posting. You don't lift a finger. Out of town? No problem. We build the scripts, coach you through filming it on your phone. Then we take care of the editing and posting. Myers Media also does bigger projects like website videos, event filming, and paid ads that make people pick up the phone and call you. You know what makes your business special, and we know how to turn that into content that gets noticed and gets you customers. Schedule a consultation with us today at myersmedia.net. Again, that's Myers, M-E-Y-E-R-S, media.net. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. myersmedia.net. Let's get you noticed.
My name is Dr. Michael Huber, co-founder of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Virago has earned its place in your medicine cabinet. It's your proven go-to for the flu, colds, and COVID. But you already know that part of the story. But today I want to tell you that if you're suffering from diabetes, hypertension, or autoimmune diseases, we want you to know that they share one common thread. They are inflammation machines. And that inflammation assaults your heart, your brain, and your kidneys 24/7. It's a silent, constant attack on your vital organs, wearing them down every single day. Taking Virago every day shields your heart, protects your kidneys, and guards your brain from chronic inflammation. Virago, the new protective standard in immunity.
Order your bottle of Virago online today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He is my California connection, host of Unapologetic with Judd Dunning, AM Radio 790, co-host of Bullet Point Nation. You've seen him on Fox News, Newsmax, and everywhere. Judd Dunning is an author, a thinker, and somebody who understands as he watched his once great California turn into Chirac. We'll talk about how Trump's economy is kicking ass. Not just the 11 states that make up 70% of our GDP, but $19 trillion now coming into America from Europe and abroad to work as investments for our economy. With Judd Dunning after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Dr. Lisa Nee has made it official today, throwing her hat into the Chicago mayoral race.
I'm tired of seeing the system fail the people. I think Chicago deserves leadership that listens, solves problems, and puts people at the center for public trust.
Current challengers include prominent and well-known politicians like U.S. Representative Mike Quigley and Comptroller Susana Mendoza. A man shot and killed in Old Town this morning. Gunfire rang out around 2:10 a.m. in the 400 block of West Evergreen Avenue. Multiple ships coming under attack in the Strait of Hormuz Monday night into Tuesday morning. Fox's Mike Tobin reporting from Tel Aviv.
The Qatari natural gas tanker was hit by what's described now as an unknown projectile, but according to Reuters report, is currently at risk of exploding. It is sitting in the Gulf of Oman just outside of the Strait of Hormuz and was hit by this unknown projectile. It's confirmed by the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization.
A third ship was also struck and sustained minor damage. Cubs back on the diamond tonight battling the Orioles while the Southsiders square off against the Red Sox. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins. It's a great time to bring in your scrap gold jewelry and sterling flatware. Cash or check, offered on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending lower as investors question the AI rally's staying power. AI jitter slammed semiconductors and memory chip makers following a sell-off of Samsung Electronics stock. However, software stocks climbed amid a rotation away from chips. Shares of Palantir Technologies rose over 1% and notching its seventh straight session of gains. The data analytics software company announcing a deal with its first commercial customer in Mexico, marking an expansion beyond the massive defense contracts that built its reputation. The Dow down 131 points, the Nasdaq lower by 302, S&P 500 down 34. And shares of Rivian Automotive fell 18% after the EV maker said it would sell 75 million shares to help repay a $4.5 billion loan from the Energy Department. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Shh, here she comes. Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop. Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations. Also, there's a beehive outside your store, and they're super aggressive. There's thousands of them.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired. Gross.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Everyone walks through seasons of uncertainty, but you don't have to walk through them alone. At intouch.org, you'll find messages of hope, biblical truth, and encouragement from Dr. Charles Stanley, available anytime you need it. Dive into devotionals, watch sermons, or explore resources that help you draw closer to God day by day. When you're ready to refocus your heart and renew your faith, visit intouch.org. It may be exactly what your soul needs today.
Honey, I can't deal with this kitchen anymore. It's cramped and everything is outdated.
I know, but it makes no sense to move. I could call my contractor buddy Chad.
Babe, you've seen Chad's house, right?
Yeah, good point.
Plus, he showed up late for his own wedding. Let's get someone who's reliable.
How about Forever Remodeling? They have a team of interior designers, master installers, and project managers all under one roof.
Their reviews on Google look amazing, and homeowners post a ton of pictures of their work.
It looks like they even offer 3D rendering of their projects.
Just like my TV design shows.
Exactly.
Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free in-home design consultation.
From kitchens to bathrooms, basements to whole homes, the design build team at Forever Remodeling takes the stress out of remodeling. They're done on time and guaranteed to match your vision. Visit them online at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No delays on the outbound Edens. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 35 minutes. Eisenhower in. A crash at Racine in the right lane. It's an hour and 10 in. And the outbound side of the Eisenhower, that one checks in at 55 minutes with an accident at Beesterfield. Another reported at Austin. Stevenson going out 40 out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 30 minutes outbound Ryan and northbound 57 past Piatone. Crews still on the scene of a crash. DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State both heavy either way. The Jane Addams not a problem, but eastbound Reagan and southbound 355, those are tight. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear with a low of 67. Tomorrow, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 89. Tomorrow night will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72. On Thursday, there will be intervals of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios,
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love it, property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
As of last week, $19.2 trillion pouring into the United States right now from all over the world. That's the investments being made, and the record was 3. In 4 years, the last administration did much less than 1, and we did 19.2 in 12 months.
The problem is when you're trapped like a prisoner in these areas of feudalism called Democrat states, you don't understand the economic boom, the opening of private businesses, the different quality of life. You've been cultivated to the Soviet states, known as Democrat states. My next guest knows this all too well, as he watched his beloved, and mine, California collapse into an open-air toilet under Democrat leadership in the record loss in the shortest period of time in history. He's my California connection, who may or may not be in Texas as we speak. Judd Dunning, you handsome son of a gun, how are you?
I'm good. And I just want to say thank you to Newsom. Thank you to Garcetti. Thank you to Bass for destroying the most beautiful state in the union. So
It really is, buddy. It really is. And, you know, it's fascinating because I come back a lot in the summer because I have extended family. My in-laws, just the best people in the world. And I am back and forth to Illinois, Stan, from Florida. And the beauty of it is that I realize how different it is outside of these states of feudalism. But when you are inundated with the propaganda, with the climate of collapse and failure, the murder, the robberies, the rapes, you know, it becomes you become disenfranchised, and that's the game, right? To demoralize and disenfranchise, where you think, what are you going to do? It sucks everywhere. And that's the beauty and the sin of what happens in the collapse of these Soviet states called Democrat states. I really feel there has to be a move now to financially separate, if not altogether break apart the country from the Democrat cancer of communism, because it will kill us. They're broke and they pretend they're not, and we continue to bail them out. It has to come to an end, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're on the way, buddy. Trump is making America honest again, right? I mean, that's the thing. We saw the COVID drop. We saw the drop on the fraud council across the United States. They're going after people. They're coming out with right now. They're coming out with things about Clintons. They're coming out with the Obamas. They're trying to bring back justice. I think the playbook is make America disgusted again before the midterms. Right? I mean, there's so many elements that we're starting to expose, but the socialist economists are winning. Because we're tired. People have been tired since COVID. They've been disengaged. Horrible things can happen now, but people are like shrug their shoulders, right? There used to be outrage. But look how much outrage they're pouring on the streets. And there's a lot of accountability that's happening. The way they just stole the elections in California was crazy, man. We didn't vote to raise our taxes.
It was amazing to watch that. Amazing. Right in the light of day, they just stole the fracking elections.
Yeah, and what do we do? We shrug our shoulders, you know, go to the movies, whatever. What's next? I mean, that's what's insidious. It's like, how do we get through this patch? But I tell you, Trump did it, man. He did it so well. He brought up communism again. He went right. What is the purpose of socialism? To get you to communism. Like, he made it the enemy. Somebody texted me. They said, "Oh, are we done with trans Muslims now?"
Apparently, yeah. No, they're just located in one area, which is good. Just get them to New York and Chicago. That'll be fine. You know what's interesting though? I looked into this over the weekend. It's fascinating to realize. I had driven around Michigan, and Michigan is an amazing state where it's about 80 to 90% decent people with high caliber, high character. And it's the 10% that destroys the whole arena and will give you a Democrat governor. But if you notice, it's still a swing state, so it has some hope, some optimism. Whereas Illinois and California, I don't really think it does. But when you look and you really crack open this entitlement scheme, you understand when you include the schools, public education, you're just under $4 trillion every year in the budget for all the welfare, all the bull dung, from the rent to the food to everything else, and the ghetto lottery known as disability, and the public schools. So more than half of the budget of this country goes to already existing communism in the country. And if you look at where that's distributed, it doesn't have anything to do with race or anything else. Where it's distributed and where it's concentrated is very interesting. It's almost exactly the same counties that always vote for the Democrat thief in national office for president. It's almost identical to the counties that Kamala Harris and that Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden won. So what I think is that's where the answer is, to change the currencies of these Democrat welfare areas, to stop running the cover of our dollar so that we can break away and succeed and make them green stamps, red stamps, whatever. Make them the commie currency versus the American dollar, and we'll really fix this ill and ultimately allow them to just eat their own tail like a snake who pretends to be a hunter and eventually just hopefully go away. So I think that's the way to do it, because it's no coincidence that these are the areas that always, they say vote, but always capitulate and let elections be stolen. It's the welfare roach areas, and we have to separate from them. I'm wondering if you ever looked at it through the eye of where over 50% of our American budget goes to welfare scumbag areas.
Oh, yeah, and definitely. It's very interesting yesterday with the head of the HUD, right? He actually blamed Biden, right? He said there's been like $50 billion in graft in the HUD department on their loans, creating a 30% boom in housing prices that were passed on to Americans. So they literally said because of the illegal immigrants that flooded in and the amount of them that flooded into HUD and the way they inflated that Biden inflated housing by 30% and created the homeless crisis. I mean, it's a perfect example. It's like the graft is so deep. It's so consequential. I don't know if we could ever separate. Maybe they should be on Bitcoin and we can be on gold.
Well,
but I don't know how to economically separate that, though, Shaun. But I do think the key element, once again, is justice and honesty and disgust toward the corruption. And I think Americans are starting to freak out about how much their money goes to theft.
Well, notice, though, not one Democrat is. I mean, not one elected Democrat congressman or senator, not one is upset about the billions of dollars stolen. In fact, they're running cover for it. Minnesota is changing the way you can audit it. California has the no Nick Shirley law. And by the way, that to me is great. Is it Becerra, whose wife is also a state scumbag who created the no Nick Shirley Act? So let's not talk about the theft. So this is what we have to recognize. A third of this country has character of a thief. Let's call them Democrats for the sake of the argument. So Democrats and the character of a Democrat, they prefer the theft. In fact, what they are is what they are in their own policies, envious and greedy. They simply want in on it. Have you heard one elected Democrat say that we got to find where this money went? This money being stolen is outrageous. And you know when I noticed this, Judd? It was in around 2007 or 8 that at that time they said $100 billion had been stolen annually from Medicare. Now think about what the dollar was in 2008 and inflationally adjusted. So you got about a 35 to 45 to 50% inflation rate. So that means $100 billion is really closer to $200 billion in today's dollars. And that's a fascinating reality of how we just got used to that. And then you look at Joe Biden when you said about the 30%. Well, that's everything. Joe Biden in 4 years added $9 trillion. It took this country 236 years to have a $9 trillion debt. That fracking moron who had soiled his pants did it in 4. Barack Obama did it in 8. And if you look at why I say to you that this entitlement scheme is over 50%, it's on autopilot. Trump couldn't stop it if we got elected tomorrow, me and you. And, of course, I'd be the president. You'd be my VP. We couldn't stop it.
Thank you.
Right?
I'm in. I wrote an article, Only Consequential Presidents Get Shot At, Trump, the Restoration of American Power in May. And I tell you, man, if you look at what he's actually doing for the economy behind the scene, who he's calling out, the amount of infrastructure that's coming, what's going on in the markets, inflation backed out of gas, jobs, everything's going really well in the background, but you never hear about the positives because the corporatized, metastasized, progressive, aggressive liberal media, right? I agree. And, it's interesting, right, while you're talking about this, I mean, our governor, 23 federal accounts of bank fraud, wire fraud, tax fraud, PPP loans, $1 million of over expenses. I mean, it's right in our face. And what does he do? He comes out and says he's being targeted, and nobody's questioning the narrative in California. Because that's how deep people are hypnotized, Shawnee.
Well, it's the Chicago way, right? The Chicago way is you set up the old lady. You set up your simpleton nephew with the cork on his fork at Thanksgiving so he doesn't poke his own eye out. You set up every scumbag that shares your bloodline who you know is too stupid to get a job on his own. But when the wife was the recipient of $7 million, $6 million in NGO fraud and kickbacks, I thought that dog would hunt. But California has that character cancer where they're not upset at the swindle. They're like the Chicago Democrat. How can I get in on that ghost job? I mean, that's the problem, right? So how do you defeat the character of a gypsy thief posing as an American?
Well, you got a poster of Nancy Pelosi with $245 million under it, buddy. Public servant of the year. Right?
I love that. How about the drunk husband? The drunk husband banging off cars like he's at Kittyland and he's playing bumper cars, and he'll get away with it. It's amazing. I want to know, was he wearing an ascot and pants or just an ascot and no pants in this accident? Did you find out for me?
Well, when not naked with his gay lover being hit with a hammer, he prefers to drink and drive. I mean, the guy is problematic, man. But back to your theme, though. I really think, like, what is the solution that we always talk about? And you continue to bellow the deconstructive nature of leftists on the nation. And it's interesting, even on our day, right? 250 years, like, people were not showing up to sing. People were not coming. There's a gap between 40% of America is caught up in this conversation. What do we do about it? And I think, look, if you go back in history, we've always been polarized. There's been periods where we've hated each other. Okay, that's fine. But you're hitting the nail on the hammer the way that you talk, Shaun. And when we do that, we activate people to get a little bolder and think a little harder. But we've had Trump in there who said, look, great thing on the holiday, right? Remember, man, our founding fathers, Sons of Liberty, these were rough and tumble Scottish, Irish people that came from the pubs who were, raising hell. They were tough people, challenging everything around them, willing to die. That was only 250 years ago. And now, we don't want to get too spicy on Facebook.
Well, it's funny. It's born out of a tavern. This whole country is born out of the Green Dragon Tavern. And if you look at who actually fought, it's only a third. This is always the thing, Judd. I understood this years ago when I was a kid. I'll never forget, I had very smart relatives. And my uncle told me, listen to me, are you aware of what's going on? Only a third of anybody does anything. And it's the same thing at the founding of the country. That's how I remembered it. At a founding of the country, 1/3 was loyal to that fat-ass blue blood king. He was the version of an American Democrat. He was just going to cut some scumbags in on ghost jobs, and they were willing to support his fat ass. Just like now in Illinois and Pritzker. Same thing.
And not pay attention.
Right?
Yep, exactly.
Another third, they're like our city dwellers. They're too stupid to know the difference. Couldn't read, functioning illiterates. And then there's the third that said, I'm not taking this anymore. That's us. And I am telling you, Judd, you could see in these urban areas, this city. Look at New York. When you see that guy from Sergey Brin from Google, he sold 5,900 properties at 6 cents on the dollar. Now, here's a son of a gun. Do you know, that's basically like, is there any moron out there that will pay anything for what I got? Yeah, we got one idiot in the back. He said he'll pay 6 cents. Sell it. You know how much you have to hate the investment to sell at 6 cents on the dollar? You're better off burning it. And that's the indication. Each unit in Manhattan, in the real estate business, I kind of broke it down on median sales and what the values are.
Wow.
Since Mamdani was elected, when he used to live with his parents before, since he's been elected, $182,000 a unit in price equity collapse. That's never happened outside of a depression. That did not happen in 2008 in Manhattan. Think about that. Chicago's the same thing. We've got that building where Ken Griffin sold it, 131 Dearborn. he sold it when you inflationally adjust the money. He lost over 100% of his money when you added the taxes he paid. And he just get rid of it. They're selling office buildings at 70, 80, 90% losses from 7 years ago, 6 years ago. 10 years ago, everything's in the 90s. So this has never happened before. I'm telling you, Judd, the powers that be, these simpleton morons calling themselves Democrats, they know their support is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and more concentrated. Now it's time for Trump and the powers that be to say, now we're going to add another 50 states. Why are we only 50? Let's be 100 and break all the counties apart. I want 100 states now.
Yeah.
We double the congressmen. We'll double the Senate. Now we really jam things up. What do you think?
I love it. I'm really overwhelmed by the fact that the idea of communism underneath as an oppositional construct is there. I mean, Mao was 45 million people dead. You know, the Soviet Union was 20 to, they say, as high as 50 million. I mean, Cambodia was millions of people. What is attractive about the socialistic communistic model? There's nothing attractive. What is attractive about Islam in America? I don't know what New York is doing.
It's a psychological flaw.
If you don't have anything, you have to oppose Trump. You don't have a platform, you have to oppose Trump.
Judd, it's a psychological flaw, and that's the problem with humanity. There's a certain security in slavery. Really, think about this. Think about all these stories you hear about slaves. All the stories about slaves. And every one of the stories, how's it work? You got 70, 80 people, right? They're the slaves, and you got 5 people in charge. Well, why don't the 70 and 80 get together, sharpen some knives, and go shivving? What are you doing? Because there's a certain comfort in slavery. And if you look at all those countries you talk about, look at
the nanny state and the victim state. They're
Iran.
Both the same. They're both the same, right?
Look at Iran. Same thing. There's a certain comfort. And every time there's a little uprising, you just crush it from time to time. But for the most part, they'll stay nice and calm. Look at Chicago. Look at New York. Look at what you just said about California. You stole the election. What do we do? Well, there's a certain comfort in slavery. And if you're rich, what the hell do you care? You're going to move anyway. So it's a really interesting psychological self-loathingness that allows people to be American Democrats or European communists. Same thing. You have to hate yourself, and you have to hate the idea that somebody's better than you, and you found the perfect vehicle to steal their assets, and you don't even have to do it. I think it's brilliant. It's a philosophy of a coward and a thief, but more importantly, somebody who hates themselves and never can live up to their own expectations. It's a psychological flaw to be an American Democrat or a European communist. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, what 250 was about in face of that was, what was the miracle of America? It was sovereignty, right? It was God, people, not God kings, right? I mean, we became, in America, anybody can be anything. If we can get people back to that, and remember, because we had freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, freedom to bear arms, that's powerful, man. But people are scared to jump out, and they're scared because of things like J6. They're scared because of the weaponization of government throughout, how we've been canceling people. Think about the last 20 years, man. We've been canceling people and telling them that if you test government, you're going to get crushed.
Yeah,
but think about it. Who feels like they can go up against the government now?
Well, I always do, but this is why it's the most exciting time to be alive. I really do, and I'll tell you why. Because number one, I'm not afraid of anything. I've been broke my whole life. I've been rich. I've been broke. Amen. I'll be rich and broke. Who gives a rip? It's only dirty paper. But the one thing no one can ever take from you is the fact that you succeeded. You can't take that away. All my life and all your life and the people who listen, what do you really live on when you're honest? You live on 50% of what you make. These rat pigs take it from you, and they call it income tax. And you just take. Are you kidding me? We the decent, advocate for our own money. Well, the scum calling themselves Democrat, they advocate to take everybody's money. I'm not afraid of anybody knowing that. I'll tell that to anybody. Fat trust fund baby Pritzker or some fake Indian Elizabeth Warren with the high cheekbones like Chuck Connors. I don't give a rip. But the reason is I'm a Floridian, and my state protects me. That's the difference. My state is an American state. I visit where I'm from. That's a communist pig state. That's Illinois. So there's an interest. That's what's interesting. The flight among foot and the security in good states. And those, to go back to our first conversation, those are the ones that are reaping the rewards of outside investment of $19.2 trillion. 11 states, over 70% of the GDP. And all the rat Democrat states, who's actually moving to them? More welfare roaches. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, you know what we don't need, though? We don't need to live a smaller American life to balance the budget. We just have to eliminate graft and theft, right? I mean, with $39 trillion of debt that's burning right now to $1 trillion a year, if we lower the interest rates, if there wasn't Trump resistance syndrome in the Fed because they're trying to prove something, they raise the inflationary rate 1% because inflation's already gone up 1%. We lower the rates 2%. We're almost breaking even. And then we hit graft. America's on its way to be balanced, baby, and we're not even going to have to go into heavy austerity if we simply eliminate the Democrat plague of theft and graft. Now, of course, the right's involved as well. We're not myopic, stupid people, but it is
Mitch
more
McConnell.
endemic on the left.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mitch McConnell, who I think had died last month, and nobody's going to tell me any different until you produce the body like the Ayatollah's son. However, the beauty of it is...
You're on fire today, buddy. You're on fire.
The fix is there because they've been running the fraud, right? And you can break it the way they implemented it. And I've always said, Social Security, you start there. It's a con job anyway. There's no... I don't want it. Give me my money back. You don't owe me anything. I'm only a handful of years from collecting it. So are you, and so is everybody else. Get everybody to say that. I'll go from 20 years old all the way up to the day before they collect. I don't want the payout. Give me my money back. I don't want your deal. And that's how you break it. And Trump did that with the account he set up for the kids. Those kids aren't going to want it. They're going to be millionaires by the time they're 30. It's beautiful.
I love that. That was the smartest move. Compounding interest is an American, it's an international miracle.
Yeah.
If all of us look back.
That's why Islam doesn't have it.
A week, man.
That's why Islam hates compound interest. Then you don't need that phony pedophile they base the whole thing on. I think it's big.
That's right. It's not halal. It's not halal. You're right.
I got your halal right here. So anyway, this is why we could start the fight. I love the fact you're doing it. And now you've got the new book coming out. Now, the old book was 13 Reasons Why Not to Be a Democrat Communist You Call Liberal. However, I knew what you meant. The new book is 13 Reasons to Love America. When does that baby come out?
Yeah, so I'm about halfway through this book. It was interesting, man. It's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Is like my publisher's like, let's do it. And like, oh, it's too positive. So I'm going to get a little meaner. I'm going to get a little more Shaun Thompson in it.
Oh, you let me talk to that son of a gun. You just do it. You tell people the truth. You got to go to where it's still America. We're going to have 100 states. That'll really shock the world, won't it?
Amen. Amen, buddy. I love the idea.
Judd Dunning, I love the fact you always make time, my California connection. Where is the best place to keep an eye on all things Judd Dunning?
Thank you. Rebranding in my office right now. At Judd Dunning, 3 Ds, 2 N's. Just follow me on Twitter. You'll get to my Newsmax column. You get to our shows, and we're blessed. We get to be with people like Shaun like 6-7 times a week across the nation. I'm America's guest, baby.
I love it.
Judd Dunning at Twitter. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, babe. We'll see you soon. You take care of yourself among the crazies, okay?
And you as well. Right. As you as well. Thanks, Shaun.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only 2 good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Now that summer is here, it's time for some summer home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560. You'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with CenterGuard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive summer special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Patrick, CEO of Total Wall and a client of Signature Bank. We produce high-performance materials used in exterior insulating finish systems and other stucco applications. Every growing business needs a strong team behind it. Over the years, Signature Bank has been more than a financial partner. They've shared their knowledge, offered guidance, and connected us with trusted professionals who help strengthen our business. They're a valuable extension of our team and a true partner. That's why I value my relationship with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My favorite part about our little get-together called Shaun Fest is after the show. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love doing the show live. I like to watch people as they are seeing exactly how we do the show. They get to meet Squirrel and Honey Bunny. But afterwards, we put a little table together, and everybody can come up, and we get to shake hands and take pictures and talk and tell stories with all of you. It is a family picnic to end the year. That's the best way to describe Shaun Fest. Third year in a row. It's happening Friday, August 28th at the Lakeside Pavilion at the Westin in Itasca. It's a beautiful place if you're coming from out of town. As we know, a lot of people are listening now out of state, in some cases, even out of the country. The Westin in Itasca is 15 minutes from the airport if you're flying in, right off the expressway. And all you have to do is register. It's absolutely free. Just register so we know how to tell the people at the Westin how to prepare it. Food will be available. Drinks will be available. We're going to have a band. The national anthem is live. In fact, all the guests are going to be live. And all you have to do to be there is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. SHAUN is the right way to spell my name, Shaun. That's 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest, sponsored in part. And by the way, August 28th in Itasca. And thanks to everybody who made this possible. To you, thank you for being willing to come. All you have to do is register. And thank our sponsors, Virago, leavingi-l.com, Real Estate, State Farm Insurance Agent, Anthony DeGrotto, State Farm agents. And by the way, Anthony DeGrotto has grown his business because of you. Great little business. We got to meet his partner at the golf outing. Fantastic. Unique wooden flags and Class A insurance owned by Thomas and TJ Iquinta. When we get back, 312-642-5600, I'll take your calls and comments. And we're going to tell you exactly how wonderful it is to see these Democrats circle the wagons around the theft. We'll start in Minnesota. After all, it's the most obvious example. Governor Stupid Face and that dingbat with the laundry on her head, Ileana Omar, married 5 times, once to her brothers, stealing our franken money to double the GDP of the sphincter known as Somalia. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about that, and I'll take your calls, 312-642-5600, after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, we see clear skies with a low of 67 overnight. A man was shot and killed in Old Town this morning. Chicago police say the shooting occurred around 2:10 a.m. in the 400 block of West Evergreen Avenue. Questions surround the status of Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. following his hospitalization last month. Reports say the former Senate Majority Leader was found unconscious on June 14 after a possible heart attack. President Trump partaking in bilateral meetings with Turkish counterparts ahead of the NATO summit and briefly discussing the conflict between Russia and Ukraine.
I had a very good talk with President Putin, who, by the way, has a lot of respect for President Erdogan. I also spoke with President Zelensky right after that.
It comes after Russia launched a massive missile and drone attack on Kyiv, killing more than 20. Chicago sports, Cubs and Orioles tonight, while the Southsiders are at home taking on the Red Sox. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone when you download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Edens, there are trouble-free conditions. The Kennedy inbound at Hubbard Street Tunnel, an accident in the 2 right lanes, hour and 5 inbound to O'Hare. That is a 35-minute trip. Accident inbound Eisenhower at Racine, right lane block solid from Damon. It's an hour and 20 in. The outbound trip 45 back out to 390 with a crash at Beesterfield. Stevenson outbound 40 minutes to 355. Dan Ryan out 28 minutes. Accident northbound I-57 at Piatone in the left lane. And then we have delays all along due Saba Lakeshore Drive either way, as well as the Tri-State, Reagan, and 355 as well. Traffic is a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com. Northwest Indiana's leading home builder. Steiner Homes, love where you live. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear with a low of 67. Wednesday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 89. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72. Thursday will have intervals of clouds and sunshine along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In DuPage County, regular no lead is $3.33 a gallon at the S&K on Route 83 in Bensonville, $3.49 at the Casey's on West Lake in Addison, and $3.49 at the Thorntons on Devon in Wooddale.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
At Audi Morton Grove, your complete satisfaction means everything to us. As a family-owned dealership, we're dedicated to making every visit your best experience. Whether you're shopping for a new Audi, visiting for service, or simply taking a test drive, you'll always receive the personal attention and exceptional care you deserve. Visit us at 7000 Gulf Road in Morton Grove or online at AudiMortonGrove.com. McGrath Auto. Service, value, reputation. That's the power of McGrath.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
AM 560, The Answer.
Reach out, touch faith.
When it happened, when the obvious theft of billions and billions and billions of dollars came out of that useless community in Minnesota, 80% of Somalians exist on welfare. And that proves the other 20% is the one that's stealing the welfare entitlements. Oh, but it's true, Squirrel. Creating a boom in Mogadishu and a real estate implosion in Minneapolis. That's how it really works.
One of the orchestrators of the massive Feeding Our Futures fraud scheme. And when he was charged 4 years ago, Abdikerm Idle fled the country. His name came up a lot during the trial of the now convicted ringleader of the scandal, Amy Bach. And that trial also exposed multiple communications they had with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's staff. For example, in February 2021, there was an email chain between Bach and Omar's office with the subject line, "Help with USDA food programs," the same program that were targeted by the fraudsters for more than $250 million. A couple weeks later, Bach sent Idle an email with the subject line, "Ilhan's office." There was also a string of text messages between Bach and Omar's staff. What did all of those messages say? Well, we don't know that because they were sealed by the court. And when Minnesota lawmakers investigating the fraud requested Congresswoman Omar to turn those records related to her office's contacts with individuals who've been charged or convicted in the scheme, she refused.
Crooked Democrat judges, crooked Democrat prosecutors, crooked Democrat governor. That's how it works. So now, circle the wagons even more. Governor Stupidface, Tim Walz, he found the problem out, and that was that for years that this was going on, years, decent, honest, non-Democrat scumbags in positions that could see the theft were starting to report it. They were summarily fired. And now Tim Walz and the thieving rat Minnesota Democrats are going to make it more difficult for any oversight as they continue to run a policy scheme and money laundering scandal in Minnesota, Democrat-controlled Minnesota.
Today, Governor Tim Walz proposed big changes to how Medicaid is given out in Minnesota. This was all driven by the state's ongoing fraud crisis. Governor Walz called the current human services system a Frankenstein monster built up over decades. Investigative reporter A.J. Legault exposed a lot of the fraud shaking up our state system. Here's his report on Walz's plan today.
But the system is growing too complex for necessary oversight.
After years of fraud scandals inside Minnesota's Medicaid programs, Governor Tim Walz seeking to transform human services. His plan would eliminate the use of private insurance companies called managed care organizations, or MCOs, and phase out contracted case managers by centralizing oversight at the state level of a fragmented system.
So you mean communism? And the Politburo will allow the thievery as long as you're a party member. This is fracking beautiful in the light of day.
End up with a bit of a Frankenstein monster that you keep putting bolts onto the side of it, and it becomes very, very difficult to administer.
Governor, our reporting found that the managed care organizations were often the ones spotting and flagging the fraud that, to be blunt, the agency ignored or slow-rolled.
That is what reporting looks like. You in Illinois, I know you don't get it. You don't understand it. This is shocking. You're not sure what to believe, but that's reporting. You see, It was the private companies for years that said, hey, Governor Stupid. Hey, thieving rat, stupid A.G. Ellis. Hey, Congress birthing people and non-birthing people, laundry on your head and not on your head. They're stealing the money. And for years, the government thieves said, shh. And now they're going to eliminate the private oversight altogether, like Illinois.
Is there evidence to support that doing away with the managed care organizations will reduce fraud and improve oversight?
I can't speak to that.
The governor punted the question to the DHS Inspector General, James Clark.
To answer the question, I mean, I haven't seen any evidence that managed care organizations are better at spotting or detecting fraud than the...
You're a Democrat. You're in on it. This is how it works. I mean, I'm so sick of pretending these good-for-nothing political whores who never worked in their life, all hiding money, all buying boats named Butt Naked and not Butt Naked, all driving Escalades and your Lexus and your Infinity, all stealing the fracking money, you bust-out scum Democrats.
Department of Human Services.
Here's some evidence. Carol Evan found the MCO, Hennepin Health, spotted fraudulent billing by housing stabilization providers more than a year before DHS took any action. March 15th, 2024, Hennepin Health emailed DHS warning of patterns of behavior and billing that raised our eyebrows. They flagged kickbacks and sent official fraud referrals, while a DHS OIG manager responded, "We're flying blind so far."
This is why the answer isn't the idea you're going to win an election. They steal the elections too. The only way to save this nation is to separate from the character of the gypsy thief fraud scumbag who likes it this way. They're called Democrats.
Even after Hennepin Health gave DHS a PowerPoint presentation on the fraud, the agency took no action for another 5 months until Carol Evan's investigation publicly exposed the fraud.
Taking the MCOs out of the picture, that really concerns me. So
House Fraud Committee Chairwoman Kristen Robbins, a Republican running for governor, disputed the administration's claim that consolidating oversight to DHS could help investigators spot suspicious billing patterns sooner.
You know what could spot suspicious billing patterns sooner than all of it? Release the AI! Release the AI. That's why when I play you this next story, it's not so magnanimous as it would be fluffered by the propagandists called media in Illinois. Stan. You see, the way that they found this all out was when Doge, for just a couple of weeks, released the AI on the information. And then you found out every Democrat area is stealing the money like Minnesota. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. If you're helping a parent or loved one move into senior living, you're dealing with a lot right now. Finding the right location, coordinating the move, managing their care, and then there's the house, often filled with decades of belongings and memories. The last thing you need is months of repairs, showings, and uncertainty about when it will actually sell. Here's how our veteran-led team helps. We listen to your needs first. Flexible closing date? We can do that. Extra time to sort through everything at your own pace? That works too. You keep what matters, family photos, heirlooms, whatever has meaning, and we handle the rest. For nearly 20 years, we've earned hundreds of 5-star reviews by treating families with patience and respect during life's transitions. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart.
Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
AM 560, The Answer.
When you see Illinois pretend to pass some sort of law that's going to benefit you and your kids, it's a cover-up. The only thing that could crack open this armadillo of corruption known as Illinois is outside oversight. No one in Illinois is going to do it. Nobody. The Republicans, I don't know who the frack they are. What are there, 3 that open their mouth and speak for righteousness and truth? And none of them are running for office.
Yeah, the one thing it's already done, Marie, is brought the two parties together down in Springfield. They're almost always deeply divided, but this bill passed the state house unanimously this spring. And as it now kicks into go mode, the question now is, what does it mean for you?
Both sides seem to agree the federal government was woefully late to regulate social media in its early days.
You see, if we got social media wrong, and we did, we cannot afford to get AI wrong at an even greater scale.
Which is why Illinois is trying to get ahead of a technology that's expanding at lightning speed and moving in unpredictable directions.
We can all acknowledge that it is poised to be...
Pay attention, this is Chris Welch. He likes slapping women and misappropriating funds.
The most consequential technology of our time.
With today's signing of the artificial...
Why don't you take AI and ask them how a gym at Proviso West could cost $40 million that you allocated for it? Maybe don't point out how you're stealing it. That's all that bill does. Prevent AI from looking at what is called a budget, really riddled in misappropriation and political theft. Right, Chris? Where's your eyebrows? Jim, Elitesville, Indiana. Ellettsville.
Paisano. Hey, yeah, to backtrack a little bit on what you were talking about earlier, all of this corruption is a natural and predicted outgrowth from the contract with America block grants in the mid-1990s. We're just seeing now 30-year race to the bottom experiment in the 50 states.
Jim, do you think that we're having a pool here? Do you think Mitch McConnell died last Tuesday or a week ago last Tuesday?
I think that he's been a weekend at Bernie's kind of guy for the last 10 years.
That son of a gun. He's going to have to disappear at sea. There's no way to cover up this. We'll be back.
You know I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up, because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Now, I spoke with Dr. Hubert, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutraceuticals working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in my smoothies. I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com, and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Progressive presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, all the furry four-legged co-pilots out there. Pets like Axel, Bandit, and Smokey, who may not understand humans but do listen to you rant about young people today for hours. Thanks, heroes. Know what else keeps safe truckers going? Saving an average of $6,181 when they elect to share their ELD data with us. Get a quote at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. 2025 National Average Safe Driver Enrollment Discount Savings for new Progressive customers. Excludes mandatory program participants. Not available in all states. Driving data could increase or decrease premiums at renewal.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Religious cultists, zealots, in their text can lie to us. How the frack are you going to have an agreement with an Islamic theocracy? Can't do it. You know who knows that, Squirrel? Frank Gaffney. Since the 80s, he's understood. There's only one way you can have peace with a radical Islamic cult, and that's a Carthaginian peace. We'll talk about that and so much more with Frank Gaffney after Foxweiser.
A response to an attack on civilian ships. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. U.S. Central Command says it's launched a new round of strikes after Iran targeted 3 vessels in the Strait of Hormuz.
These were commercial ships as they are trying to get oil, natural gas out of that waterway from the Persian Gulf into the Gulf of Oman. But the Strait, of course, has been the center point for so much of what's happened since early February, where President Trump said it was imperative that ships would be allowed to move in and out of that area freely. Iran, of course, had contested that, saying that they were going to be the ones deciding who was going to be able to move through that waterway.
Fox's Mark Meredith in Ankara, Turkey. One of the tankers hit was from Qatar, which called Iran's attack in the Strait a violation of international law. President Trump now in Turkey for a NATO summit as he continues to push the alliance to pay more for security.
President Trump's been clear for many, many years that we need to see Europe step up when it comes to burden sharing, our NATO allies increasing their defense spending. Thinking back to the last NATO summit with President Trump, you had that historic commitment to 5% of GDP on defense spending. Now it's about living through on those commitments.
State Department spokesman Tommy Pigott. The president has long criticized some NATO countries for not paying what he says is their fair share, and in the past has threatened to leave the alliance. A preliminary hearing continued today for Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk last September, as the judge rules on whether a letter written by Kirk is admissible as evidence.
The judge ruled that this letter is admissible. It's not being published right now, and the statement is coming from David Engelhardt from TPUSA. It addresses how Charlie Kirk was very open about his faith and his political beliefs, and the prosecution argues it touches on why Tyler Robinson targeted Charlie Kirk.
Fox's Matt Finn in Provo. Robinson has not yet entered a plea. America is listening to Fox News.
stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, you are good to go. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 35 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower, hour and 20. In from 390 with a crash at Canal in the right lane. The outbound Eisenhower 50 back out to 390, and 55 northbound just shut down between US 52 and Black Road due to an accident solid from Route 59. Stevenson outbound 35 to 355. Outbound side of the Dan Ryan, 25 minutes. 57 north at Piatone, crash in the left lane. Heavy all along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and all of the tollways in both directions. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear with a low of 67. Tomorrow, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 89. Tomorrow night will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72. On Thursday, there will be intervals of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Shh, here she comes. Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop. Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations. Also, there's a beehive outside your store, and they're super aggressive. There's thousands of them.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired. Gross.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Life moves fast, and it's easy to feel spiritually drained. That's why InTouch.org is here to help you stay grounded in God's Word every day. At InTouch.org, you'll find biblical teaching from Dr. Charles Stanley, daily devotionals, free resources, and messages that speak directly to what you're facing. Whether you need encouragement, clarity, or a moment to reconnect with God, it's all right at your fingertips. Discover a place to grow your faith and find real hope at InTouch.org.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
When Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860, America stood on the edge of collapse. Over the next 4 years, the Civil War claimed more than 700,000 lives and tested whether our republic could endure. As the war drew to a close, Lincoln looked beyond victory. He looked toward healing. In his second inaugural address, he challenged the nation. Let us strive on to bind up the nation's wounds, to achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace. Lincoln understood that preserving the greatest experiment in self-government required more than winning a war. It required the character to restore what had been broken. More than 160 years later, America still faces division. The question is not whether we'll disagree. The question is whether we still have the wisdom and the character to heal together.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays Hail to the Chief, ooh, they point the cannon at you. No, it ain't me. It ain't me.
Hi, Josh, thanks. On Noon 5, Governor Ron DeSantis says he wants to label several groups as terrorist organizations under a new Florida law that just took effect. Governor DeSantis named the Council on American Islamic Relations, also known as CARE, the Muslim Brotherhood, and Antifa as groups that he's targeting. The law allows Florida law enforcement to recommend organizations for this label, but the state cabinet has to vote on it.
Now, I was smiling from ear to ear like every other Floridian, And there was only one person smiling just as much as I was. And that is my next guest, whose name I first heard in the 80s. We both had thicker hair. He had a job for Ronald Reagan. Frank Gaffney, how are you, my friend?
Well, I'm still beaming at what Governor DeSantis and the state of Florida have done, and I give you a lot of the credit for it.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if he listens to the show, but it might be. But one of the things that's fantastic is to see that for decades, as these organizations were under suspicion when the country had some form of dignity and integrity, and then the Obama years happened when we lost all forms of dignity and integrity, and those investigations were shelved. At least now, states can take action to keep out the global intifada, the jihadists, the cultists that pretend to be a religion versus what they are, America-hating saboteurs.
Well, at least one state can do that. I wish that more of them were following Florida's lead, but I'm prayerful as we embark upon a serious campaign. I call it Save Texas, Save America. Shaun, it will be the case that Texas will follow suit. It may not have the statute, in place for some months because they're not in session. They, as you may know, only allow the session to take place every 2 years, and only for 5 months at that, in the state of Texas. But look, the point is that Governor Greg Abbott, who actually took the step of designating the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations as terrorist organizations and transcriminal ones at that, a month or so before Governor DeSantis did it, is well positioned, I believe, in these next 4 months to begin doing what that Florida statute envisions, and that is to begin rolling these guys up. We don't have time, frankly, because they are on the march, and the passage of month after month with essentially no action being taken to enforce these designations until now in Florida and hopefully soon in Texas, it's only having the effect of emboldening these various jihadist groups. And by the way, Shaun, as you know, they're communist allies. This so-called red-green axis is what we're up against, and either of them would be a problem. Both of them together are very, very dangerous indeed.
So you know what's fascinating, Frank, is that, and by the way, we're opening up a can of whoop ass again on Iran, which is fantastic. I can't wait till it just annihilates every theocrat there, because there is no getting along with this kind of cult that it is. I hate to even give it the credibility of a religion. It isn't. The people who practice Islam and are not jihadists, okay, fine, I'll let you pretend you are one. However, Iran is a cult headquarters. It's not really a country. And when you look into the economics of it, it's a fracking punchline, Frank. Did you know that the GDP of Iran is 50% of what the revenue for Walmart is? Did you know that? And all of this nonsense, all of this poppycock, all of this strife, it's about time we realize, because I was very upset over the last couple of months, last 6 weeks, of hearing how all of a sudden they're no longer cultists and we're going to have an agreement. Anybody that knows anything about the cultists, no, there is no such thing as an agreement with somebody who doesn't believe in their hobgoblin nonsense. They don't want to have an agreement with us. They want to kill us. I love the fact that he's finally come to realize this, and I have yet to see the Ayatollah asshat's son. Is he still alive, or is he like Mitch McConnell?
Well, I think there are three of them that turned up at their at the old man's funeral the other day. But the one who is putatively the new supreme leader has not been seen since he was so designated, and he could be in full Mitch McConnell mode. I don't know.
It's fascinating to see how the so-called Americans, politicians, they're very timid on this topic. I mean, has anybody outside of Marco Rubio, or even perhaps a chance of Ted Cruz or Mike Lee, has anybody really talked about how ridiculous it was to pretend we had a memorandum of understanding? How the frack are you going to have a memorandum of understanding? Any contract needs somebody to understand the clauses and the concept of Western civilization and the rule of law. You can't have a memorandum of understanding with Iran, can you?
You absolutely cannot have a memorandum of understanding with any value, for sure, with this version of the Iranian mullahocracy. The president has been persuaded that this third string, or maybe fourth string, depending on who's counting, is sufficiently different to constitute regime change. I respectfully disagree. This is the same group. In some cases, people point out to them being worse than some of the others. But what is for sure is they still have one thing on their mind, and they've iterated it as they often do at any given opportunity: death to America.
Yeah.
That's what, in the intelligence business, they have a technical term for this. You may be familiar with it. It's called a clue.
Well, you know what's
a clue. They're trying to kill us.
Of course they are. They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill our soldiers. In fact, they're trying to kill even people from that region that won't bend knee to their hobgoblin nonsense. And when you look at who they're telling us are leaderships, aside from answering the question of what would B. Arthur look like with a beard, these fracking idiots, how do we know what they are? What is their form of government? What is their economic scheme? Is there a title company? How are we pretending this is a country anymore rather than declaring it what it is? A prison island just like Cuba, a prison island just like Russia was, and this idea that we, the American government, gives it credibility. Not interested in agreement with you. And if you even look at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, we'll kill each and every one of you. Why isn't anybody saying that?
You know, it goes back to something you asked a moment ago. Why isn't anybody talking about any of these truths? And a few of us are, I think it's important to say. But in political life, fewer and fewer are. And partly that is because of the perception that it is politically suicidal to speak the truth about what's happening here. And we've got to fix that right quick, because what is suicidal is pretending that Sharia supremacism, and that's what I call all of these characters, whether they're Sunni or whether they're Shia, whether they're 12ers or whether they're, some other fashion. These are people who are absolutely convinced that their duty is to wage jihad until Sharia, their sort of strategy for conquest, is made supreme over the entire world. And it just happens that arguably the worst of the bunch are the 12ers, who believe that in order to bring that about, they have to engage in the apocalypse. And to think that Americans, politicians and others in public life and positions aren't talking about that reality is malfeasance. And it really should be something that people are held accountable for in the strongest of terms. This is not going to end well if we persist in thinking that those who have these aspirations, those who actually say they want to bring death to America, and death, of course, to Israel as well, don't mean it, are folks who should be kept away from any kind of position of power and influence, permanently.
Yes, I know, but did you see this weekend? Did you see this weekend? I want to play this for you.
This is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan. Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim.
This is going on in New York. This is going on in Detroit. This is going on in L.A., and shame on, and I mean this, shame on these idiots that not only are calling themselves Democrats, and they knew he was a global intifada cultist scumbag who lived with his mother and father before he became mayor. Shame on our FBI. What the frack are these guys? I mean, I understand during the Trump years and during the W years and the Clinton years. I mean, these are assets of the government. They don't want to do a fracking thing. They don't want to. I don't buy it for a minute, Frank. There are a couple people that want to do it. But for the most part, these guys are just trying to get the payday. And when you look at the fact that there are legions of enemies, of traitors, of potential terrorists, the vast majority, like Somalians in Minnesota are on government sustenance. You look at Detroit, you look at these areas that claim to be the rise of Islam. They're all on welfare. How in the world have we allowed this to happen? And why isn't our law enforcement saying, these are jihadists in New York, we're arresting them?
I think there are a lot of factors that are contributing to it. But what is, again, completely unacceptable is we know where this leads. Don't take my word for it. Look at what is happening in country after country in Europe. And you see the same playbook, a little further along, but the same playbook that is now operating inside the United States as well. And we've chosen to turn a blind eye to it. Some have done it because they want votes, or they want money, or they don't want any trouble, or some combination of the three. And thereby have allowed this problem to metastasize. And by the way, as I said, Shaun, it's accompanied by a similar kind of refusal to come to grips with the communists. Now, the president's talking about this a lot now, but he has not spoken about the red-green axis, which is what I think we need to be truthfully describing to the American people and countering.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind when we talk about an economic philosophy, right? This is what we're talking about. When communism reared its head and destroyed Russia and turned it into the Soviet Union, when it destroyed Cuba and turned it into a prison island, wherever it's really touched, Venezuela, I don't care where you point, it's sold as an economic plan. The difference of, I think, why they're having a hard time making that connection. When you look at these theocracies, these ghetto areas in the Middle East, they have no economic plan. None. What's the economic scheme of Gaza? What's the taxation? What's the opportunity? Is there a business license? Where's the shopping district in Gaza, in Palestine, or in Iran? And Iran had the infrastructure, and now it has ghost shops. It's like a Democrat city in America. There is no real economic plan that's linked to this because it's not about any form of civilization. It is the absence of civilization. It is the absence of economic plan. The only people who have money are the ones attached to the government. Communists at least pretended to provide sustenance. Iran has watched its economy destroy itself over and over again, and they don't care. What is the economic plan? Does it have one?
The truth of the matter is this isn't about economics. I mean, they have, yes, Marxist, theory and all that. It's always been just about power.
Yeah.
It's just a pretext for gaining and exercising power. And if the state owns the means of production, that's just another means of obtaining and exercising power. But look, is there any hope for any of these, enterprises? Absolutely not. And the only thing that, we need to be mindful of is that we don't let them impose that kind of crap on us. And that's what they're set on doing.
What's funny is to watch. I went to Michigan for the 4th of July and talking to some of the people that are very familiar. I have relatives that are, stay out there for the whole year. Love it, love it, love it. And when you look at what's happened to that education system in Michigan, specifically these heavy areas, it gets you to think about how we, the decent Americans, have allowed the virtue shield of education to be used as an indoctrination camp against Americanism. And, you add up public schools in this country, it's more than we spend on defense. It's over $1 trillion. You add up what we spend on the welfare in this country, on what's called the social safety net, and you look at these areas, these Islamo-Nazi areas and these Democrat ghetto areas, these areas are where this money is spent. They're not spent the way they want you to believe, equal through the country. Absolutely not. These are the worst areas. These are the most religious, zealot, cultist, Islamo-Nazi areas. It's a staggering reality. 80% of Somalians are on welfare. Look at these temporary protected Haitians that have no affiliation with a religious cult, just a standard of living to steal from America. Look at what's going on in Detroit, in these Detroit areas. Same thing, 80%. In most cases, they have their phony wives as they have these religious ceremonies to get paid, where the wives are getting paid to take care of their own kids and their husband, and may have 6 or 7 wives. And you look at the housing vouchers, you're talking more than 50% of the American budget is used on phony education and entitlements that I say a very small percentage of actual Americans, qualified citizens, are receiving these benefits. So at a certain point, as the left always talks about money we spend on defense, we spend a fraction on defense that we do on our own destruction, on the safety nets that go to illegal aliens, people who hate us, and illiterates we pretend we educate. How do we reorchestrate this argument so people understand without our money, Mogadishu real estate prices collapse in the same way the Middle East collapses, in the same way all these communist areas are, as these aliens, legal and illegal, are taking our entitlements back to their home country, and we need to stop this.
You bet we do. Look, I think the best way, and certainly the way that I think is most promising, is to make the case for doing something differently. Make the case for America, make the case for the way we have traditionally operated. And that was not subsidizing people trying to destroy us, not welcoming them into our country, not otherwise empowering them to take down our country. Let me just give you one further example of this really dismal prospect. If we continue down this trajectory, Shaun, what we're going to find is electoral jihad, or election jihad, if you will, which is translating all of those kids, translating all of those, huge families into very disciplined, very well-controlled block voting. And whether they're electing people who seek to impose Sharia upon us because they share that creed, that cult, if you will, or whether they're not Muslims, but they're people who have aligned with them for the expedient reason of getting votes or getting money or both, that is going to translate into power to push this country ever closer in directions that will look a lot like Mogadishu before we're done. That mustn't be allowed to happen. And, this week of the 4th of July, I think we need to be celebrating America, yes, but also recognizing that we must defend her. And that's where this campaign to Save Texas, Save America comes in. Check it out at bansharia.com.
You know what else is fascinating, Frank, is that as we speak, earlier today, a scumbag Democrat judge blocked our own DOJ in the quest to find out just who were the people that orchestrated the election theft in Fulton County alone. That dog hunts where they went in and grabbed the paperwork. Those two fat pigs in Georgia that sued Rudy Giuliani for his pinky ring and his Mercedes. They were guilty of exactly what he accused them of. When you look at the evidence that's come out now that dimwit in diapers and every thief Democrat has been thrown out of Washington, I've got clips here proving beyond the shadow of a doubt the election was stolen in Arizona. The election was stolen in Philadelphia. In fact, the election was stolen in the counties that stopped the count in order to figure the scam that they needed to have the plausible acceptability of an election recount after they turned it back on, and all of it was stolen, and we now have the evidence. The machines, Smartmatic, Dominion, all of it. It's all exactly what we thought. So am I going to hang my hat on the fact, well, these areas are going to change things from education? I don't think Chicago has ever had a legitimate election, ever. In my life, ever. They brag about stealing the 1960 presidential election. New York is second behind it. New Jersey is a joke. Look at that lipless CIA whore that became the governor of Virginia. That's the same kind of scandal, and everyone just move along. And, I was looking at something that I know you'll remember, and I was laughing to myself. LBJ, when he becomes the senator from Texas in the 50s, and how they did the same thing. He was behind by 600 votes. They shut the election back. He won by 81 votes. And look at the scandal that LBJ was.
Dead people, as I recall, wasn't it?
It's the same.
A lot of graveyards voted.
And you notice how all these Republicans, the scumbag Republicans, are slow walking the SAVE Act. Without that SAVE Act, it's game over. And the only answer is get your ass and your family that you love to decent states because they like it this way. When I say they, I'm talking about Democrats. They love it, man. I know them my whole life. They just want something for nothing. So we got to get away from them, don't you think?
or your thing for nothing. That's more like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maggie Thatcher talking about that's the problem with socialism is you run out of other people's money.
Yeah.
Look, I think there's a lot to be said for states that are pro-freedom. I'm just telling you, we're working hard to make sure that Texas remains one of them because it is being targeted big time by this red-green axis. And if we don't use this next 4 months, Shaun, to form up and to push back come those elections, not only are we likely to lose them, but we're likely to see our country lost.
I'm going to give you some.
as well.
I'm going to give you some optimism. I've been in the real estate. I've been in the real estate business a while, but I'm paying attention even longer. And it's funny to watch the cycles in real estate, right? The ebbs and flows, what happens. They pretend it's seasonal, but it's more economic, right? And I lived through a lot of it. What I have seen in the last month and a half, and just the uptick in people that are on the hunt now, and you look at the reality of what people are experiencing in these Democrat hellholes. My very own 57 new taxes in Illinois, $77 billion raised in these taxes. They're now funding ghettos and they're gaming and the video poker machines and dope are the only businesses opening up. Legacy businesses that have been in this state for 100 years are fleeing. If you could focus that on getting people to go to Texas and specifically the areas you're talking about and shore up those good areas. If you could do it in Tennessee, if you could do it in any of the 11 states that make up 70% of our GDP and 100% of the money being onshored, $19.2 trillion since Donald Trump has been in office. Now you've got exactly what you need. You've got the good people whose vote is being stolen from them in Illinois and New York and Philly. You pick an area. And now they're going to go to Texas where they can legitimize it. It's going to be the good versus bad the way it always is. Only in those states, the good have a chance because they're the majority. They don't have their elections stolen the way it's been going for 100 years in Illinois and New York and California. That's what we should start to market. An actual housing, help everybody do everything. Find the house, get the insurance, make it easy for good people to leave bad areas. Don't you think that's a good way to shore up the vote?
I think it can be. But you got to hustle. And you got to organize, and you've got to fight back against those who are already there and are trying to take it the other way. I mean, turn Texas purple is a thing, actually, en route to turning it blue. It's hard to believe, but they've lost the cities across that state already to the blue. It's not as bad as some of the places you just mentioned, but it's bad enough. And when you overlay on top of that the jihadist elements in Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth, it's getting critical. So the window is narrow. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's closing fast. We need to do what you're talking about right quick.
Gaffney Moving and Real Estate Company, accompanied by Liberty Real Estate Services. Come on, I'm halfway there. We'll do it, Frank. We can do it. Shaun and Frank take on the world. I appreciate you always making time for me and bringing decades of wisdom and, moreover, decades of loving your country and patriotism and winning. Frank Gaffney, thanks for always making time for me, brother.
God bless you, my friend. Always a privilege. Bye.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Joint pain is awful when you're the person fighting through it, but I'm betting you aren't the only one affected. Maybe you love someone who struggles with joint pain. It's summer, time to be outside, moving and playing, but you or your loved one is sitting it out again. Hey, it's Dan Proft here. Get your life back. Talk with my friends at QC Kinetics. That's what's happening every day at QC Kinetics. Patients are finding real relief in their hips, knees, shoulders, and backs thanks to regenerative treatment done in the office by Dr. Caravelli and the QC Kinetics medical team. No surgery, no long recovery, just real relief. Inflammation eases, the pain lets go. I've seen the results. QC Kinetics patients are happy and wish they would have done it sooner. If you're living with chronic joint pain and want an alternative to surgery, contact my friends at QC Kinetics, longtime sponsors of AM 560. Consultations are free. Weekend appointments are available. Schedule an appointment today by calling 312-827-6261. Again, 312-827-6261. Once more, that phone number, 312-827-6261.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Progressive presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, all the furry four-legged co-pilots out there. Pets like Axel, Bandit, and Smokey, who may not understand humans but do listen to you rant about young people today for hours. Thanks, heroes. Know what else keeps safe truckers going? Saving an average of $6,181 when they elect to share their ELD data with us. Get a quote at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. 2025 National Average Safe Driver Enrollment Discount Savings for new Progressive customers. Excludes mandatory program participants. Not available in all states. Driving data could increase or decrease premiums at renewal.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
You know, it's interesting, as we never wavered on the election theft of 2020. Everybody said, they're going to silence you, they're going to take you off YouTube and asshat, and they did. We never wavered on the plandemic, ever. Never wavered. We never wavered on the vaccine would kill more people than the plandemic, than the bioweapon known as COVID. We never wavered on facts of economics, and that's what built our little family here. It really did. This isn't just a radio show. I don't do a fracking show. I don't even know what a show is. This is about sticking to the principles of Americanism and fighting tirelessly. I don't talk about men in costumes chasing balls. I don't give a rip about any of that. All I care about is our country. And what I care about is your property rights, my property rights, and the idea that we're having 50% of our income stolen. For what? For what? To give benefits to scumbags who hate us? It's got to come to an end, and that's why I love when we come together. That's our family. And it's free. Shaun Fest is free. And all you got to do is register at 560theanswer.com/SHAUNFEST. It's that simple. Happening Friday, August 28th, Lakeside Pavilion, which is right behind the Westin in Itasca. It's a big venue. I said yesterday, we did all right. We had a couple hundred. I bet you we can get more tomorrow, which is today. And they said, well, then talk about it every break. Talk about it so we can get more and more people. Now, it's free. You have to register. There will be food available. You can buy drinks available. There's hotel rooms. It's right off the expressway. It's so easy to get to. Whether you fly in or drive in, all you got to do is be there for our family reunion. There will not be one moron, low-life, commie scumbag there. I guarantee you. Not even the people who are helping us, who work there at the Westin in Itasca. They're all fantastic people. This is where we have Freedom Summit. And all you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Register to be there. We have VIP tickets, but even if you pay for that, $25, we give you a T-shirt, we give you a drink ticket, and you get a seat guaranteed. I'm there, Squirrel's there, Honey Bunny's there. We have live music, the national anthem, and I'm staying until I meet each and every one of you. And I know Squirrel and Honey Bunny, they get a little tired, but that's all right. I can pep them up. Start doing some espresso there. Go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFester. It's sponsored in part by always our great sponsors. Virago, leavingil.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrado, Unique Wooden Flags, Class A Insurance owned by Tommy, Thomas, and TJ. Father and son, Iquinta, best people in the world. They are such good, all of us. You're going to love it. Can't wait to see you. Be there. When we get back, Jim from out of state, Missouri, we're going to take you first. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, we see clear skies overnight and a low of 67. In a story we first told you about several days ago, Dr. Lisa Nee has made it official. She is running for Chicago mayor. A man was shot and killed in Old Town this morning. Chicago police say gunfire broke out around 2:10 a.m. in the 400 block of West Evergreen Avenue. Health officials are looking for the source behind a parasitic illness causing severe symptoms like explosive diarrhea. According to the CDC, there appears to be a surge in cases of cyclosporiasis. It spread to 18 states like Illinois, Michigan, New York, and Texas. Multiple ships coming under attack overnight into Tuesday morning in the Strait of Hormuz. Fox's Mike Tobin is in Tel Aviv.
The Qatari natural gas tanker was hit by what's described now as an unknown projectile, but according to a Reuters report, is currently at risk of exploding.
Chicago sports, Cubs and White Sox back in action tonight. The news a service of Allstate. Wish you could save money on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first. You're in good hands with Allstate. Your next news update is at 7. And up next, a check of the roads with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Edens, no troubles to report. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 30 minutes inbound, an accident at Canal blocking the right lane. It's an hour and 10 going in. 55 northbound remains shut down between 52 and Black Road. The Stevenson out, that is 30 minutes out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And we have delays southbound as well because it is closed between Black Road and 52. Northbound 57 past Peatone, an accident in the left lane. Heavy on DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and all of the tollways still are showing delays either direction. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be clear with a low of 67. Wednesday will bring mostly sunny skies with a high of 89. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 72. Thursday will have intervals of clouds and sunshine along with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
With things moving fast to resolve the situation in the Middle East, the headlines may change, but the fundamentals haven't. America's debt continues to climb, and uncertainty still hangs over the global economy. That's why investors continue turning to one asset that has stood the test of time: physical gold and silver. For generations, gold has been viewed as a safe haven asset during periods of geopolitical tension and market volatility. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's acclaimed book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. Discover why central banks are buying gold, why many Americans are diversifying with precious metals, and how a tax and penalty-free rollover into physical gold and silver may fit into your retirement strategy. Don't wait until the next crisis dominates the headlines. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Shaun Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate, it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
With the forensic analysis, looking at these 147,000 mail-in ballots. Now, what is at issue here? There's a couple of key things. Here's the 2 key things is, were there counterfeit ballots? 6 affidavits. Now, we had 4, now it's 6. 6 affidavits of veteran election officials are alleging that up to 30,000 of these 147 ballots are fake.
Later, Fulton County would have 300,000 that were fake. Jim, Kirkwood, Missouri.
Shaun, thank you for taking my call. I'm a first-time caller. I always enjoy hearing you covering Frank Gaffney. I remember back in the day before you started your show when he used to be on the Phyllis Schlafly show before she passed away years ago. And he would always expose what the Duchess of Chafington and her husband would do to try to ruin West Point, with diversity, inclusion, and equity and all that other garbage. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. It's interesting because I have to tell you, Frank Gaffney, I remember in 87, I was right out of high school, and I remember when he got appointed, and at that time, I really had a dislike. I always had a dislike for George Bush Sr. And George Bush Sr. was kind of handling the stuff. So when I first had the opportunity to interview him, I thought to myself, we're not going to like each other. We are not going to like each other. He's a George Bush Sr. guy, and I am not. The only reason I even tolerated him was Ronald Reagan. We started talking, and I found out he had just as much contempt for corrupt Republicans as I did. I absolutely love him. I think he is fantastic, and I love the idea that he was in that swamp, lived in it, and understands how detrimental it is to our country. So I love talking to him.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the listening, and thank you for calling. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Terrell! Georgia.
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? I just got a couple questions for you, man. First off, I'm a long-time listener, long-time fan. Appreciate all you do.
Oh, thank you.
I just curious, in my opinion, I think we should stop funding Israel completely and focus on our own.
Well, it's interesting with the Israel funding. A lot of times that's said We don't really fund them. We run a money laundering scheme so they can buy our weapons, and we pretend it's them buying them. It's very interesting, Terrell, when you look at how that works. They're a very wealthy country. They don't need us to fund them. But what we do is we run a scam, and this is our fault. This isn't Israel's fault. I'm not bashing Israel. We do the same thing with a multitude of different people. We give them money under the condition that they buy our weapons and they buy our goods. So I don't blame Israel for that. I blame American political scumbags that perpetrate that fraud. You know what I mean? It's a money laundering scheme that it has the illusion of foreign policy, but is it? It's not foreign policy as much as it's corporatism. But go ahead.
I see what you mean. That you kind of enlightened me. And honestly, do you think that Tim Walz is a hero?
Tim Walz,
American hero. You know, he's a veteran.
Tim Walz? You mean Thumbhead? You know, Benedict Arnold was a veteran.
Who?
Benedict
You
Arnold.
talking about Thomas Massey?
Well, I thought you said Tim Walz. I thought you said Tim Walz from Minnesota.
I said Tim Walz.
Yeah, do I think he's a hero? I think he's a traitor.
Man, you don't know what you talking about.
Here it is. I had an idea. Georgia.
Don't.
Tim Walz. Tim Walz, you talking about Governor Stupid Face? You talking about that stupid son of a gun? Oh, boy. Greg, LaGrange.
Hey, Shaun. How many times do I have to remind you?
What?
It's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the vote.
I love that, Stalin. You worried about the vote? Not at all.
You know what's interesting? I was reading this article on Zero Hedge about the Straits of Hormuz problem today. And it's funny, I thought of the 1970s, right? The street parlance that me and you probably had. I'm a little older than you, but when you were going to go out and you were getting into a fight, you were like, hey, man, I'm going to go kick your tail or whatever, right? Yeah. So how do they announce that the Americans are going to go out and just respond in kind and bomb the hell out of
Say they closed the Straits of Hormuz. That's how you do it. Yeah.
The term that they use now, this one poster put in there on an X post, they're going to issue a kinetic response. They don't even fun to talk like they did in the 70s anymore.
No. How about this? How about if you fire at anybody we love or us, we're going to kill every one of you. I mean, that's the nice thing about the way Trump used to talk. I don't know what the hell happened when him and J.D. Vance pretended that we were going to have some sort of an agreement based on what? Based on what? This is a country that's been killing our guys and been funding terrorism for 50 years. Now we're going to have a gentleman's agreement? Ooh, Marcus of Queensberry?
That's why, you know what? That's why I'm a big fan of Marco Rubio. I really am.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm warm on him. I wasn't because of the sugar lobby, but I'm starting to look over that. I'm a little confused by those big giant ears. Can we get those reduced at all?
I like him and Wesley Hunt. I really do.
You know who I like him. I'm telling you, you keep an eye on DeSantis, and I love Harriet Hageman. I mean, I love her. I think a DeSantis Hageman ticket. And she's a real Indian. I want to let her loose on Elizabeth Warren, that fake Indian with the cowboy cheekbones. What do you think of that?
I'll have to look her up.
Oh, she is the best. She's the one who took the seat from Liz Cheney, also known as Nick Nolte in a mugshot. That whore. Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Thank you,
Shaun.
312-642-5600.
I'm going to bomb the out of them. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you prepared for the Illinois state tax? If your estate is worth over $4 million, your heirs could face a tax bill of up to 16% when you pass. Financial advisor Scott Tucker and the team at Scott Tucker Solutions can show you ways to potentially reduce or even eliminate that burden. One strategy is to start gifting assets during your lifetime to lower the taxable value of your estate. Another option is setting up irrevocable trusts, which can shield wealth from estate taxes. Charitable donations and life insurance policies can also be smart tools to offset tax liabilities. Call Scott Tucker and the Scott Tucker Solutions team now, 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. That's 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. AM 560, The Answer.
Of course I knew, Squirrel. And when you talk about Tyrell and Georgia, it's their nature to lie. They're Democrats. That's all they know how to do. Lie, cheat, steal, fraud. So it's funny, we had a couple text messages. Somebody said, did you know? Yeah, I always know. Of course I know. I like to play games with them. And then somebody said, well, you know, I hear you not giving us solutions. What are you talking about? Are you listening? I'm telling you the solutions. You either break apart the counties if you can't move. Break apart. Start a movement. 33 counties in Illinois voted to get away from this Democrat mafia. Were you part of that? Did you contact them? Or you get off your lazy ass and you make sure your kids don't have to live under a Democrat thumb, and you go to Texas. You go to one of the 11 states. You don't have to make it Florida. I'm fine with it. Listen, it's fine. I think you shore up those states a lot better than you can shore up this one. This one has morons. Moron Republicans who like the same scams, who don't actually compete to become the nominee. They sit on money like Darren Bailey, that simpleton moron. Going to vote for that? I'm not ever going to tell you to vote for that. So you've got to make that decision. I did it. It's expensive. It's time-consuming, but it is worth it. I'm going to tell you right now, because I'll never live under the thumb of a Democrat scumbag, ever.
Superior Bank. I haven't thought about that. That's a good one. Anyway, so yeah, but I was nothing to do with that.
You're a fat pig, scumbag, fraud, thief, never paid your taxes. And when it comes to who they steal the money for in the name of, here's what it sounds like. Here's a guy that was offering bums and hobos and degenerate that you're being taxed for. Food or booze? What do you think they took?
You want the alcohol or you want the pizza?
I'll take the alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Woo! There you go. Let's go. Wait, this is what you missed out on, though. You got some hundreds. All right, you want the alcohol or you want the brownies? Or we could... Oh, you want the alcohol? Grab it, grab it, grab it.
Take my money for these scumbags? Get the hell out of here. Fastest show. I can't believe it's over. Are you nuts? You sure you got the time right? All right. We'll be back in 21. Democrats not welcome. That doesn't mean they can't lie. It's what they do when they open their mouth.
Want to see my